Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rencast with me, Ren26. I think we're finally going live, and if you're with me right now, you're going to be watching Ascension versus Godar for the Natural Selection 2 World Championship quarterfinals. Now this is going to be a pretty exciting match. This is the best of 7, so we should be seeing at least 4 rounds and hopefully more if the teams are as even as I think they will be, because I think this is going to be a pretty close match. I think we all agree that Godar are the favourites, but I'm pretty sure Ascension can take a couple of rounds, if not 4. And take the win. Now this is a very important matchup because this is the last of the online matches we'll be seeing from these two teams, and the winner will be moving on to Cologne in Germany. They'll be meeting me and a bunch of other people from the community, including the other winners of the quarterfinals. And then if they win the semi-finals, which are live on Twitch with other casters, then they'll be moving on to the finals. And then if they win that, then they get plenty of money. So this is a pretty important match. Thanks for joining me, guys. So I've got a couple of topics I want to discuss before the game begins, which could take some time because I'm not actually sure what's happening at the moment. I've got no news about where the refs are or the players are. But thanks for joining me. Great, so at the moment we don't know what the maps are. The maps are actually selected just before the game is played because there's a kind of map server sort of choice there. One team chooses which server they want, one team chooses the map they want, and then they swap every 2 rounds. So obviously we're going to be seeing one marine round, one alien round. And then it's a best of 7 again, so it's the first of 4 wins. It could be quite a long evening of games, or morning depending where you are from. Because of course we've got a bunch of Australian people watching. Thanks for joining me from Australia. Probably a lot of Europeans are watching because this is a nice early morning activity for them. And if any Americans are watching, congrats for staying up. It looks like 3 AM. Or staying up or getting up early. I don't know what you guys have chosen to do. If any Americans are there, let me know in chat. Just trying to get some server information. Great, so a couple of topics I want to discuss. Obviously we've got the 2 different teams. I've actually done a little bit of research on them. Certainly a lot more on the Ascension team because these guys are Australian. So not much, I haven't seen much of them. But of course Godar, we know Godar now, they've been playing for months. They've always been pretty damn good favourites for certainly their top three teams available. And sometimes they are my favourite, really, number 1 in my opinion. There'll be a couple of different things I'll be discussing over the next couple of hours during the game, so I thought I'd talk about them now, so that when I talk about them later as well, I won't have to explain quite as much, and certain topics like the importance of resource towers, the kind of metagame we're seeing at the moment, or the kind of metagame we saw a couple of weeks ago, because we all did take quite a long break over Christmas, which I hope you guys had fun with. Stuff like Shift or Crag Hive, and the importance of arms up upgrades, and some other topics as well. But at the moment I want to go through the lineups. So for the Ascension team, these guys are Australian. Their team is probably going to be Slayer on Commander, Jekt, Bonage, MF, Scatter, and Intric. And for Godar, they've got a new commander, Ioros, Alcalde, Volk, Skoog, Mendasp, and Icefeld. So for the Ascension team, these guys are from Australia. I think both teams, because Godar from Europe, they'll be playing on an American server to kind of even out the pings. So both teams will be having about 200 to 250 ping, but from different sides of the planet. So they'll be connecting to the midpoint and America. And Ascension actually really interesting. They've got their own little metagame in Australia, which slightly deviates from what you'd expect from the North American teams and the European teams. So something we see from Ascension, or certainly we've seen in the previous rounds from them in this competition, has been the T-Res lurk. Basically, this is how you get a lurk within the first minute and a half, is you spend, I think it's 20 biomass, 20 res on the biomass upgrade for the hive. That gives you 2 biomass, and from there you can unlock a lurk egg, which I think is about 30 T-res. So for a 50 T-res investment, within about a minute, you can have one of your guys with a lurk upgrade. And basically this is something they do quite often. And essentially what you're doing is you're investing all your early game resources into a massive, quick upgrade. And the idea is, because of the huge investment you make, the idea is that lurk has got to really set the pace, kill some marines, and kind of force map control. And then that's got to sort of imply map control dominance during the mid game, because you will be behind on other upgrades. You'll have a couple of harvesters that you will be able to afford, but the shells and the or the spurs, if you do choose that, which I don't think they usually do. I think there goes Crag. Those are going to be very delayed. So the general principle about that early T-Res lurk is quite extreme. It's very different, and you've got to make sure that that one guy who gets his lurk, he has to play exceptionally well to make up for that fact, because it's a huge investment in res. And I think Godar will be. I think Mendas, he's usually the intellect behind Godar. He's hopefully scouted this just like I have, and they'll be thinking, all right, if they're going to go early lurk, then we're going to go early armor 1, or perhaps early shotgun if they're feeling extremely brave. If you can take that lurk out or just scare him off in these early engagements before the 4-minute mark, if you can make sure he's useless, you've pretty much secured yourself a Marine win against them. So we'll see about that. Some other stuff about Ascension, they're actually a very good team. I mean, one of their strengths I saw was the fact that they stay with a high morale. I saw a game on Vale where they were sort of losing a little bit, then they come back with a phase gate, they kill a few life forms, and they're back in the game. Really impressive stuff from them. I want to see some kind of stuff like that, because they will go back in a few stages of the games against Godar. They will be set back, they will lose life forms, they will lose a couple of shotguns. We need to see them on a high morale, keep pushing, make sure they stay involved in the game. Some little weaknesses I saw actually was the fact that they're not too unpredictable. So one of the strengths of, for example, a team like Godar or Imagine, teams like this is the fact that they're unpredictable. The phase gates are slightly, they're not in a position you'd expect. So you always see phase gates in, for example, hub and crossroads and these sort of central locations. But sometimes there's benefits to moving it out a little bit into somewhere unexpected to be a little bit more surprising. And in terms of being unpredictable in general, you need to have your skulks behind enemy lines, biting RTs. You need to make sure that you're getting upgrades consistently. You just need to make sure that you're on top of the enemy team. And this is something that in terms of upgrades, Ascension do keep up with that, but in terms of unpredictability, not quite there. So we'll see if that turns out the same way as usual, and we'll see if that pays off or is a actual significant negative for them. They've also actually, I saw them use a lot of phase gates that were a backup to the original phase gates. So they've got one outside the base, for example, in system waypointing, and they will invest in a third one, for example, in subsector, and we're talking about NS2 Vale right now. And I suppose the advantage there is if they've always got that backup phase gate, when they lose one, then they can always come out the next one and reinforce. So they're never actually going to lose map control in one swipe. It's got to be in 2 pushes. So we'll see how that turns out as well. This is in general something that I've seen them do, but also a lot of teams do now, is the early gorge with the tunnel. Early gorge tunnels are extremely popular these days, and I do need to find out the server information, so I'm getting a little bit distracted. I've got no one on my friends list who was actually on these teams, I don't think. Just listen to the music and chill out. I'll just give me 20 seconds. Thank you. Okay, I've got an admin on the case. I've got Zephram, he's hunting these teams down, so hopefully we'll be going live soon. Some other topics I wanted to discuss. Okay, so I was on the tunnels. So the gorge tunnels come out, and actually what we're seeing recently is the fact that the gorge tunnels, they aren't coming from the hive. Usually both entrance exits are sort of on the outer extractors. There's 2 reasons for this, 2 advantages. Is the fact that if you've got this connection between your 2 outer extractors, then one gorge can protect both of them at once, because he's got that tunnel connecting them. That's mobility, and that's an advantage that applies to all alien life forms, including the lurks, for example. Okay. No one's giving me the server info, and they're shouting at me to join, so a little bit of miscommunication there. I'm going to try and hunt someone down. Here we are. Yeah, so you get the tunnels up on the outer extractors, and that's got 2 advantages. The mobility, so you can go through one to the other, and that's on your outer extractors, so you could defend them both kind of at once. Like if you lose, for example, Marines will push 2 different extractors at the same time to try and spread the aliens thin so that they can succeed in either one or both. Rather than just push one at once, you push two at once, and your chances of success are higher, but the tunnel counters that a little bit by creating mobility between them. And it also acts as infestation, which is a pretty small, well, it's a minor advantage, not a small one. A little bit minor, though. For example, most Marine teams these days kill cysts and then the Harvester, because the passive damage you get when a Harvester is not infested is pretty significant. And the tunnel counters that by creating this giant tunnel. It's just this huge warp of infestation underneath that protects it. And so there's two main advantages to that, really. Some other stuff, I've seen them go shift hive with the a couple of whips in their base. They just build them up, let them mature. Once they're 100%, then they echo them out into combat. So if you've got a couple of whips involved in a fight, so if you've got two fades and alert coming in to engage, perhaps 3 Marines, if you get a couple of whips behind those Marines, like cut off their retreat, or if they do try and retreat, they take a bunch of damage. I've seen them do that, and it's actually quite impressive. It's pretty effective. So we'll see if we see some of these little things here. From Godar, on the other hand, because I've talked a lot about Ascension and what they do, Godar are essentially just a really smart team. They've been doing this for a long time, and I'm actually quite interested to see whether, without Yivol, because Yivol was their commander previously, who's now actually playing for Imagine, they've actually got Ioros on commander now. We'll see how they fare with Ioros on commander, see how smart they still are. But from the results we've been seeing so far, Godar, well, both teams have been pretty damn good. Godar have been exceptional. I don't think they've lost a match within the qualifying rounds. But overall, their strategies tend to just be outsmarting the enemy team. They don't leave holes in their defenses. They're pretty unpredictable. They keep their extractors and their upgrades coming. And from there, you'll pretty much win the game every time. It's just pretty standard set of requirements for winning, really. Anyway, I'm joining up just now. Okay, I had this bug before, which is unfortunate. I'm going to have to fix this. It's just going to take me a second. I believe when I'm casting and I try to connect to a server, or sometimes anyway, maybe it's just a passworded server, it kind of bugs out. I have to turn off the steamer overlay to fix it, which is unfortunate. Anyway, that should fix it. Anyway, this is going to be on an American server, so again, this is going to be halfway between the two teams. Sorry guys, I'm fixing this. Okay, I think I've fixed everything. Again, thanks for joining me, guys. This is Rencast. I should be going live soon. I think they're waiting for me. I would blame Zephyrum, but that would be unprofessional, but it is his fault. So this is Godar versus Ascension. Everyone thinks Godar's the probably the stronger team right now, but I'm hoping for Ascension because, I mean, they're out of the metagame, so they will be certainly slightly harder to predict, which I think is a huge advantage. And we'll see how strong they are. I think they've probably practiced a little bit more than Godar. I think there will be a little bit out of practice in terms of teamwork, but we'll see. Great. I'm finally connected, everything looks good. Hopefully we can just start straight away. I prefer actually watching the game than talking about it. Well, I prefer watching the game and talking about it rather than just talking about it. I suppose that's kind of obvious. It's a little bit distracting to connect to servers. Great. This is the best bit. Alright, I hope you guys are excited because this is actually going to be a really good game. I'm going to try and write notes down during so I can talk about the game afterwards, but overall I will be concentrating. Team spec ready. Great, so we'll go through the lineup. I did actually discuss the lineup, and it looks like I was almost correct. Looks like Ascension have MF, Bonage, Jekt, Slayer on Commander probably, Neza and Scatter. And, turn the music off, we've got Ioros, Grissi, Volk, Rilo, Icefall and Mendasp, and that is a really strong team. We're going live in 10 seconds, and this is going to be a great game, but I want to see Ascension really step it up here and try and get a couple of rounds, because they've got a really difficult match ahead of them. Anyway, we're on Tram right now. Check out the spawns. We've got Warehouse spawn for the aliens and a Southern spawn for the Marines. Pretty standard. And an early arms lab. So Ascension going for an early upgrade set builds. We'll see if they go Armor 1 or Weapons 1. Armor 1 is started and we got a 2-2 split from the aliens with a Gorge perhaps. Mendasp on Gorge, probably heading to Mezzanine to get the tunnel up there. Rilo and Icefall versus Neza, who's running through on loan at Logistics, and it's got one guy building there. One guy headed to Hub and got a 2 split on the right as well, so you've got one building observation and one heading through to elevated transfer. This is good from Ascension. They've got one guy defending the corridor. This is a choke point. You don't want to let guys through. This is the easiest place to defend, so they have one guy defending this with his line of sight and one guy building. That's a great way of doing it. Looks like a 1v1 Jekt versus Grissi. Grissi's actually taking a lot of damage. Looks like Jekt might take the advantage here, especially as he's got no parasite on him, which gives him a much needed advantage there. Neza baiting out Rilo and Icefall without coming in to back these guys up, but MF actually flanking. It's got a great position. They could actually choke these guys and take them out. Neza actually goes in, gets caught out just in the right time by Vark and Icefall, and now Bonage is holding this choke point up against 3 skulks. As soon as he's reloading, they might try and take him. Actually, they're considering going for MF as well, so great positioning from these Ascension guys, really hunting these skulks perfectly. You can see they're trapped here, and just how scared they are to actually leave this area. Icefall probably going to get caught out here. MF and Bonage slowly and steadily taking these guys out. Jekt coming in from the elevator transfer push as well. Looks like he did kill Grissi, and that allows him to come into Hub, back up MF, and clear out Hub. And there's Grissi on the respawn with Rilo, but these guys have got great positioning. They're not backing each other up though. Very nice from MF, soloing Grissi as Jekt was kind of looking the wrong way. And we've got 5 extractors for the Marine team. They're very well done from Ascension, but Godar are in a pretty good spot as well. You can see they've got the tunnel up to the outer extractors, giving them free infestation. That's a saving on T-Res, the mobility that I mentioned, as well as the ability to defend both sides and the infestation. So a lot of advantages to those tunnels, and they've gone straight for it, all processing Mezzanine. Bonage and Neza, they will be heard by Grissi, who jumps down, gets a couple of bites, but doesn't finish off Bonage. He's on 30% health. Needs a couple of med packs. Neza actually coming in to back him up. Icefall, 2v1. These skulks, actually I think right now they need to group up a little bit more, because they're trying these 1v1s, these 2v1s, and they're kind of getting outnumbered, and they're getting cleared up. Nice early Crag and a whip. On the infestation given by the Gorge Tunnel, up in Mezzanine, and Scatter and MF are ready to kill the whip. You can see the advantage of the Crag and the whip slowing these guys down. They have to kill the whip, then the Crag, then the tunnel, then the Harvester, if they want to be as efficient as possible. And they've always got to be, they see it slows them down enough to bring the aliens in. They come into the defense. Icefall's getting the kill, but Grissi was taken out. It's now a 3v1. MF, there's no way he's going to take out these aliens with the Gorge in backup. Really nice job from the aliens with the mobility there. And they've taken 4 Harvesters, and Ascension have taken 5. That's pretty even, although Godar are actually going for the 5th now, it looks like, in server room. So, Godar going for mass expand, and it seems to have worked really well. And they're doing a great job on combat. Now they've taken out elevator transfer. Neza comes in to try and defend, but there's 3 skulks and a Gorge healing everyone up. You can see they're going to leave combat with full health. That's the effectiveness of that Gorge, bringing him into combat. Scatter, MF, and Bonus trying to take the 3v4. Huge combat here. MF gets taken out. Scatter doing a great job. Bonus finishing those guys off, and now the Gorge is actually very vulnerable right now. If they can push him, looks like he does belly slide out of there just in time, and he probably will belly slide out. No, jumps over. Very nice from Mendef, staying alive just enough to get back to Mezzanine and defend that. And we got Jekt pushing, all processing. The respawn wave comes in. Grissi, Volk, and Rilo at the front, jumping onto Jekt, who's only got 2 bites worth of health. Does get a couple of med packs, but not to save him from Valk. And there's an early lurk. That's the P-res lurk, I believe, from Icefelt. Valk's taking a 2v1, does get taken out by these two guys pushing into platform, and there's a nice little whip there. The great T-res investments that force these Marines to either take their line of fire to different targets or slow them down. It's doing a really good job of making sure that they can keep these 5 harvests alive. Icefelt doing a great job on his lurk, and Grissi on the resource harassment at repair him. Got Bonus versus Rilo, and then Volt coming in as well to hub. A 2v1, they're taking the long range as well. Bonus got a great advantage position, but he's completely outnumbered. Looks like Volt getting healed up. And Bonus with the pistol kill, really nice onto Rilo, doesn't quite finish off Valk, and it's especially important that that Gorge came in. Without the heal spray, he would have gone down. A little bit of lag there, not sure what happened there. Icefelt and Mendef now holding Mezzanine. This lurk is actually really important right now. He's doing a great job, and if you keep your lurk with the Gorge, you minimise the amount of downtime. And it looks like they just finished their first shell. All just upgraded their first shell upgrade. You keep your Gorge with your lurk so that whenever he takes damage and has to fall back and heal, you minimise the amount of downtime. Try and take as much advantage as you can from this early lurk. Trying to chase him right now. He's going through this vent. You can see he takes a huge amount of damage, but he's right next to the hive. Will heal up very quickly. Whip's right there to defend North Platform. And Grissi and Valk doing a great job defending or processing. Right now the advantage is all about the Godar team. Doing a great job with the harvesters. They're not harassing quite as much as they need to secure the win. But the 5 harvesters is a significant advantage. You can see that reflected by the fact that they got 2 shells at this point, and the 3rd shell is probably not long far away either. Rilo, Valk and Icefelt dealing with the server room push. Jekt and Ascension scatter. Not quite able to kill Icefelt. He's getting away with about 20% health, 30% health there. And no Marine aggression right now. They're losing map control. You can see repair room's gone down. Neza with the shotgun, and the weapons 2, armor 1 is going to be completed soon. Which is pretty quick. Not very quick, but it's good enough to stop these lurks and maybe get a couple of kills on them. If you can clear the lurk at this point of the game, you can actually start taking map control back and maybe pushing. But the weakness right now is Ascension. They haven't been pushing anywhere near as successfully enough. We've got Neza and MF, one with the shotgun, one with the rifle, looking to take on all processing. You can see a little bit of a clog wall to slow them down, a gorge tunnel and an infestation from the cyst as well. Going to make it extremely hard to deal with the harvester there, and a great combat from behind, flanking, repairing from hub. Mendas, Rilo and Icefelt taking a lot of damage, but the gorge heal is just so powerful in combat. You can't afford to let that gorge heal go off multiple times, because that's going to keep your guys very healthy. And you can see Jekt getting soloed by Mendas, fantastic fighting from him. And the Ascension guys, they've got great upgrades, but their combat proficiency right now is a little weak. And I think they're actually susceptible to a base rush as well. If they try and be too aggressive and a couple of skulks get through. There's no observatory. There's the observatory. There's no mines though. So if they force a beacon, that's extremely costly, but there's no mines. Phase tick is started, so they've got a plan. They need those phase gates up so they can hold map control when they take it. Now this is expensive, but look how valuable that is to Icefelt. He can go into an elevator transfer up against MF and Scatter. He can pop in and out. He's got hubbed. His whole domain is hubbed right now. You can see he pops in, takes a bit of damage. He's got his Gorge Tunnel, he's got his Crag. He's still healing up, even though he's in combat. He's getting a lot of health from that Crag. You see they're moving up to make sure he's in range. And he's full health again. Extremely effective, and MF and Scatter, that's costing them a lot of time. We've finally got the first fades out. These fades are so early. Really early. 46 P-res on Grissi, and that's the 5 harvesters. That's so impressive. Bonage, Scatter and MF actually grouping up to try and deal with the extreme alien advantage right now, but it might be a little bit too late as the fades have come out already. And they will have an upgrade. Yeah, Rilo has got his shell upgrade as well with the triple shell. Bonage, Scatter and MF, that's 2 shotguns and a rifle with the phase gate. They fall back to get the phase gate up, but Rilo and Valk will hear that and either rush in or go somewhere else for a base push, or not quite sure what they've decided to do. Looks like they're trying to commit to a base push. But the phase gates are completed, so I don't think that's going to be anywhere near as effective as they'd like. They don't actually finish the phase gate. That would have been the defense for them. Forcing them to beacon, not a problem. Build up the phase gate and you're back in elevator transfer. Assuming those phase don't get there before you can go through. So they got good positioning. They get out of the phase gate with about a couple of seconds to spare. Drifter comes through. Mendap's looking like he's getting a lot of damage. But I'm sure at this point he's got plenty of PRS. Fantastic range spiking from Icefelt takes out MF. Scatter and Bonage on the defense of this elevator phase gate with a robot factory, and they've built it on the infestation, so it's taking extra damage for no reason. They could have built that there, and that would have been a little bit safer. It's little mistakes like these you need to be aware of. Looks like the Shade's coming in, just to secure it a little bit more. It's usually not too effective, but it might force a couple of scans. There's the scan. And are they upgrading the robot factory to an arc factory? It's only 5 T-res, it's pretty cheap. And a 4 alien push. This is the power of this. All this T-res investment means that only Mendasp is holding up against 3 Marines, and he's just a little gorge. It's really effective, and so they can kill Repair Room and then rotate back to the phase gate. Really nicely done from Godar. They're just using the perfect amount of players for their pushes and the defense. They have got 3 biomass with only 1 hive, which means they're probably looking to get the early Bile Bomb upgrade for the Gorge that did just die in this combat. Rhino taking a lot of damage. He's on 20% health. But this Crag here is making a huge difference. The shift as well. These guys will never be out of energy in this fight, and that's just such impressive decision making. This shift right here, they're moving it forward so that these guys can attack infinitely against this phase gate. And anyone that comes through that is going to take a huge amount of damage. There's the recycle. Elevator transfer is lost, and it looks like this might be the start of a good game. They're actually going for their second play of the game. This is a phase gate up and Repair Room, and I am a little bit worried this might be the end of the plays Ascension has left. They've got the last few shotguns. If you look at the P-res, they're running out a little bit. And they still haven't killed any life forms. There's Mendasp on Sculpt getting a kill. And you need to be a little bit more effective than this if you want to stay in the game. There's the elevator transfer push. They're getting the whips involved. Straight onto the power node. Want to clear up the harvester and take that. That's going to put them on 6. And maybe a hive there if they feel really brave. But maybe in server room. There's a robot factory. So these guys really want to get the arcs involved and try and use the arcs to take a couple of harvesters. But at this point it's a little bit too late. The aliens have huge upgrades. They've sucked up so much res this whole game. You can see 400 for both teams, and the Marines have used that quite effectively. They've got weapons 2, armor 1, but they haven't got any upgrades for about the last couple of minutes now. Phase gates have come up and down, but overall the Marine proficiency, they're still about as strong as they were a few minutes ago, and so essentially they're slowing down whilst the aliens are speeding up. There's a bone wall separating Scatter, Bonage, and Jekt. Quite nice, although Jekt does have line of sight. Rilo takes a lot of damage. I think he was overestimating that bone wall a little bit. Scatter, he's lost a lot of health. He needs a weld. He needs a med pack. Rilo and Valk looks like the opposite now. You see the two teams are swapped positions now. Rilo and Valk are holding elevator transfer, and these guys are trying to push in. Jekt, Bonage, and Scatter. They've got a couple of shotguns to defend against these fades, and you can see these fades are a little bit hesitant. They can't afford to lose these fades right now, although they do have a lot of P-res saved up. Mendasp on 45, even though he was gorging. Grissy's finally going in Onos with a spare 4 P-res for an upgrade soon enough. And once that Onos comes out, I'm sure these guys will clear up hub with the fades, push straight through with the Onos into Repair Room, and then good game will probably be called at around the 12-minute mark. I can't imagine the Ascension guys standing up to an Onos in addition to all the aliens we've got right now. So I'm surprised. Okay, so no, I'm not surprised. Mendasp has gone Gorge. That way he can back up his teammates. There is no Umber upgrade, which will be extremely valuable from Icefelt right now. They don't have Onos upgrades either, which means no charge for Grissy, but he gets in position anyway, right on the phase gate. Marines are all being cleared out. Very nice job from all aliens there, each of them getting a kill. We've got a couple of Fade kills, a couple of Onos kills. Neza comes in trying to defend, but he's got really a lot of damage there before he can do any, and good game is called. Really nice game from Godar, just so smart, huge expansion. You can see they went straight for a mezzanine tunnel and an ore processing tunnel, and that didn't go down all game. Then they invested the T-res into a Crag and a Whip, and what's fantastic about that is that they didn't just sit it there all game. They're not Echo, but they physically moved the stuff out slow and steady. So once you've actually invested your T-res, it's not just there all game. You've got to make sure you're actually pushing this stuff out so it remains useful. So you could check out a mezzanine, they had a Crag and a Whip. You saw they had to take the Whip out, which slowed them down. If they didn't have the Whip or the Crag there and just the tunnel, they would have been able to kill the Harvester, and then maybe they would have used that just to move on to server room, and that would have created all kinds of problems for Godar, but they were prepared. Not a problem. All processing as well, they had a Crag and a Whip, I believe. And then as soon as they stopped being useful, they syst up down here, take this area. Really nicely done from Godar, wasting no T-res. Very well done. Also, not just the T-res investments, but overall, Godar really had this fantastic combat proficiency. They were really good at fighting. And Ascension weren't quite on top of that. Certainly not on the Marines. And hopefully they're a little bit better on Alien in terms of combat, because combat really defines map control, and map control defines the upgrades you're going to have. And upgrades define how you're going to win, if you're going to win. So the game is in some ways all about combat. In another way, it's all about resources, but those two are linked, so I don't think that's an unfair statement to make. So I think Godar are pretty set right now. I think they're pretty happy with the result. I'm not sure they're going to discuss too much on what they need to change or think about. They're probably prepared for the next game. From Ascension's point of view, they need to make sure they group up, get some fantastic team kills, and then a couple of extractor kills early on would really set them up nicely for the mid-game. And as I did mention earlier, I will be predicting a T-Res lurk, so we can discuss that right now. So you've got the 1 biomass is standard with the 1 hive, 20 biomass, and I think it takes about a 30-second upgrade. And that's going to set you up with 2 biomass, and with 2 biomass you can click on an egg, and once you've selected it you can upgrade it to a lurk egg, so that anyone can walk in and upgrade themselves to a lurk for no P-res. And that upgrade for the egg costs about 30 T-res, and you can have that sorted in about a minute and a half. And as I said before, that's a huge short game upgrade, but it can really cost you at mid game if you don't use that short game advantage to take some extractors and deal some damage. So we'll see what these guys do. Ascension, if this early lurk play could actually be the thing they need to secure a win. We've got a warehouse spawn in the north for Ascension and shipping spawn for Godar. An early infantry portal, so it looks like they're going for early aggression. That usually implies a lot of shifting through walls. I don't know what that means. So a second infantry portal implies that they're actually predicting to take a lot of losses. They're going to take a lot of damage and lose a lot of marines. And the infantry portal is there to prepare for that. It's certainly not something you see every game, certainly not instantly. And I think that's going to imply a lot of aggression, a lot of pushing, just getting straight into the north, dealing with platform. And you can see Ascension right now, they're a little bit slower, a little bit more hesitant, and they haven't taken anywhere near as many harvesters. And I'm wrong about the lurk upgrade. They have gone crag upgrade. Bonage in with the Godar player here, Rilo. Nice one from him. Yeah, I'm pretty happy that they didn't actually go for the lurk, because I'm sure Godar would have predicted that, and perhaps they predicted it and have actually spent T-res to invest into countering that, and that might cost them. Icebolt gets tagged in the vent. Good job from Neza actually realising there was a player there, but Vulcan Rilo steaming straight through into hub, and Scatter and actually Eject as well might get through into logistics, into shipping, might be prepared for a base rush here. They're going for an extractor, which is smart. It's a pretty safe decision. It's higher risk doing to the base, but there's potential for higher reward as well. Eject, fantastic double bite kill into elevator transfer, and Vulcan Rilo can go as aggressive as they like, but they're going to lose all their extractors on the bottom left of the map. Fantastic job from Neza getting a kill in logistics, securing them in the RT kill there. Elevator transfer is going to go down as well, and Vulcan Rilo, they're a huge issue right now, but looks like Ascension are doing a really good job of staying aggressive. All processing as well is actually being countered by Icefelt. So these guys are sort of being countered here. They're sort of being stuck in the bottom right, and they're not going to have the harvesters they need to get an early lurk out from the P-res. But they're doing a good job of sort of emulating that on the marine side as well. So we got 1v1 Eject versus Grissi. Eject with the pistol comes out and does get taken out. It's unfortunate. A kill there would have been very successful for them. Vulcan Rilo pushing into platform. There's no crag, but they are spanning the mucus membrane onto the harvester. Bonage with the gorge goes straight into these guys. He's sat right in the middle of them. MF, Scatter, and Neza, all with the gorge heal wave on them. Scatter and Neza ending that fight with full health, but MF goes down, which is unfortunate for him. But no harvesters lost, I don't believe, for the alien side, and the aliens have killed too. So this is pretty nice, especially at the 2-minute mark. They're doing all right, but we need to see these aliens get through and do more damage, because right now the Marines are sitting on 4. And at this point, it was actually Ascension only have 2, but I believe Godar had about 3 or 4 at this point, if you consider the previous game. So 70% of this extractor, Rilo crouching in, which means he's going to surprise Neza. He's actually going for the sprint now, so he might not surprise him quite as much as I thought. 46%, he probably won't get the kill on this extractor, but sending it down to 30% health is going to be pretty effective, especially for the next kill. And you can see 1v1, didn't go for the kill. Pretty smart, although I think the likelihood of killing the extractor was low. Scatter and Slayer. Slayer doing a great job of walking, not running, trying to catch up onto Grissi, but does get caught out with the line of sight there. Grissi sees him. Jet coming in, flying through with a high speed, missing a couple of bites. Slayer comes in and finishes him off. Icefelt 1v1 up against Bonage the Gorge, but Rilo coming in to defend. And it looks like Mezzanine is going to be for the Marine side, or at least neither side. And a server room was dropped and built, but they need to protect this, because this is extremely vital. We must be seeing these early lurks right now. We've got to be seeing the lurks come in at the 3.5-minute mark. We've got to be as quick as possible. You've got Scatter and an egg, and Icefelt actually loses his teammate, Rilo. And now it's a 1v1 Bonage versus Icefelt, and let's see how confident Bonage is feeling. In pub play 1v1, Gorge versus Marine is a pretty fair fight, but in these kinds of plays you'll get so many med packs it won't even be close. You'll take out the Gorge every time. Jet coming in with that Lurk, fantastic, and then you've got the Lurk already almost fully healed by the Gorge. This is the power of the Gorge Lurk combo. Neza 1v1 up against Valk. Actually, Neza loses position on Valk, but does catch up, takes him out, and then fantastic job from Bonage. This is the another advantage of the Gorge. As soon as you take map control, you've got the Gorge to heal up all the cysts and buildings quickly and minimise the amount of time that you don't actually have this stuff built. Jekt fantastically finishing off the Extractor he left on 30% health, and might get away, might get finished off, doesn't go for the vent, probably smart, Icefelt might have tagged him. And Joe going for the Extractor. This is great aggression, this is exactly what we need. We need to see someone on these two in the bottom left as well. And all processing is another Extractor we need to see taken out. Godar on a lot of Extractors, we need to see more harass. Because right now they're going to be steaming through upgrades. Got to be taking a lot of T-res, I think. I think overall Ascension can still take the advantage, but I think they're in a weak position. Right now they've only got one Lurk and a Gorge. And then there's 3 of them on 30p res, so they're clearly saving for a couple of fades and an Onos, or perhaps one fade if they're feeling very brave, and a double Onos. If they can get to that point in the game, I think that might be a win. But right now, the Marines, they don't have any armor upgrades. They've only got weapons 1. They've got no shotguns. And this is the point where the aliens are strong. And from this point, they're only going to get weaker, relatively, to the Marines. This needs to be the point where they take combat and win it. You can see they do lose a shell to the Valk Mundas push. These guys recklessly pushing in here, just doing massive damage to the shell. It's only on 12%. Valk with the reload goes straight for it and 1% on the shell. I can't believe how lucky the aliens just got. And that's actually critical. If they'd lost that, there would have been 20 T-res. That would have been a huge difference to the position the aliens are in right now. Looks like Bonage is still on his Gorge, so we can heal that up. That's very nice. Very, very nice from Ascension. Just in time to save that. But these guys are so aggressive. You can see this double AP is really paying off. They've got no armory, so that even if they take any damage, they're straight up just going to die and respawn. That's really mad. I can't believe how aggressive these guys are going. Valk in position to get MF, and Scatter with the 1v1 right now. Icefelt coming to back him up. You can see Scatter is pretty safe right now. He's running out of energy in terms of flight, but his health is always going to be very high with that Gorge backing him up. And Scatter comes in to try and back up Slayer, but a little bit late there. That's actually Slayer on the command share getting out and trying to deal with these guys. The Scatter's now got up against 3 Marines, even with a Gorge. That's too many Marines to take on. You can see they're taking huge amounts of damage. Bonage running out of energy in terms of heal spray, and Scatter is forced to go back to the hive. There's no tunnel exit, so there's no connection to back him up. And the whips weren't enough to save the Gorge. You can see Godar right now, they're just so successful at pushing. You got Slayer in the comms here dropping eggs because they were perhaps running out, although I'm not quite convinced by that. Mendes prepared to push into the hive and take out that shell. You can see these double pushes. Rilo and Grissy on the Harvester. Valk, actually this is a triple push. Valk taking a 1v3 in the south side of the exit from the hive spawn, and Mendas on the top left as well. MF in the corner, jumping down. Very nice positioning and timing from MF taking that kill. Weapons 2, armor 1. Going to be completed soon for Godar though, so you can see just how effective these upgrades, how quickly they're coming along because of the sheer amount of extractors they've got. A little bit of a base push from Jekt, Slayer and Mendas. Mendas jumped out, get 1 kill, gets 2 kill on Slayer. And Bonage and MF are now in the base. You got actually, if they get the kill here, this is actually going to be pretty damn good. Scatter needs to be taken out. Valk very quickly. It does not quite quick enough, and Icefelt on the respawn as well. And they've done a lot of damage. If they don't weld this stuff up, the base is vulnerable. Armory is going down. But that's exactly what we need to see. That was good. If they can pull this kind of stuff off more effectively, that could actually win them the game, or at least turn the game around a little bit. You can see the T-res investment though. There's no Crag here. In fact, there's no Craggers anywhere. And this is the difference between the two teams. Finally, we're seeing the double fade play with Bonage going Gorge as well. So this could be the game changer. There's no shotguns. They are just upgrading them, so they got perfect timing on the shotguns from Godar. Scatter 1v1 up against Rilo. There's a lot of medpacks coming in, and medpacks are the bane of every Lurk. Huge damage. Scatter gets taken up by the last pistol shot. And Slayer comes in from the comm chair. Very little comming from Slayer anymore. He feels like he needs to get into combat and take these guys on himself. Perhaps that's an indication of his frustration with this team, or perhaps he really feels that that's the best position for him right now, especially if you're running out of T-res. I think that's maybe a good call. Get out the chair and see what you can do. You've got Jekt versus Valk, so the fades are finally getting out. It's clearing up the Marines that they have been struggling with all game. But once you get the fades out, you run out of skulks. That means the res harass is going to be very weakened. This needs to be Nez's priority. And the fades need to make sure that their priority is actually clearing these skulks, making sure that they can kill as many extractors as they have time for. Triple shotgun push into hub. Phase gates looks like phase gate's going to go into hub just about here. Looks like they're going for the power node. Phase tech upgrade is about 90% done. Scan goes down onto all processing, so whilst they're waiting for the phase gate upgrade, looks like they want to push. Mendas, Icefell, and Grissy. They killed they killed the weapon. The Crag is now actually built there. MF is forced to go back into defense. It looks like he's actually rotating. Maybe making... No, I thought he was making space for a base push, but I'm not convinced that that's going to be the way forward. Looks like they're trying to repair room their room as well. MF and Jack coming in onto Valk. Valk gets taken out with a shotgun on the ground and a mucus membrane, triple mucus membrane there. So a lot of T-res investment for a fight. You can see the whip. What am I talking about? Phase gate's gone down in hub. And they're clearing up the phase gate and repair room. Nice recycle there, saving them some money. Loads of shotguns on the ground right now. Godar with loads of P-res and shotguns. Ascension in a lot of the trouble right now. You can see they're making a play for repair room. Icefell and Rilo. Shotgun defense on the extractor, but they've got all the aliens right now, apart from the commander who's there even with a drifter. So we've essentially got 6 people in this room. Icefell gets taken out. Really nice team job from this alien team. Very well done, clearing those 2 shotguns. And if they keep clearing up shotguns, this is going to be pretty costly for the Marine team. If they can clear 2 waves of shotguns, they're going to be left with only rifles. You can see the Gorge Tunnel, nice. Gorge Tunnel into repair room, forcing the map control. They're going to have to defend it though if they want to keep it. MF and Jack pretty healthy on their fades, but the shotgun comes in. Rilo up against the Gorge will get taken out in about 3 shots. Mendas and Valk in a good position to hold this room. And a little bit of lag there. Tunnel probably will go down. Gets taken out very quickly by the weapons 2 shotguns. See, if you look at the extractors right now, Godar are only on 3. That's pretty good. They're going to retake repair room, but they might lose elevator transfer. Depends how quick Icefell is. And this game is all about resources. Right now, the resources have kind of been spent. Godar are in a good position, but that doesn't mean you can give up on the resources. You can see a nice job from MF taking out a shotgun. And it looks like finally we're going to get a bit of biomass from the hives for the alien side. Great job. They finally got a position on the phase gate. But Val coming in from repair room takes out the Skulk, and the Skulk is the building damage, which means this phase gate's a lot more safe now. Mendas comes out. 2 fades. They haven't got much building damage, but they are getting the mucus membrane support. And Scatter on the Skulk, who's doing all the damage to this phase gate. You can see the I think the 2 fades equal about 1 Skulk there. Very nice job. It looks like they lost the lurk, and we saw that pistol shot up in mezzanine, but they've only got 2 fades and a bunch of Skulks. And these Skulks need to get on top of the res right now. Replacement phase gate. Prepared in hub. Grissy, Valk and Rilo have all got shotguns, and Icefell there with a rifle as well building. Jex on his fade killing an extractor. Maybe hoping to bait these guys into repair and whilst they go for a base push, or going for the safer option of the extractor whilst the Marines push them. If the Marines are going this aggressive, you need to take a bit more of a risk than going for observation, I think. And right now, if they can force a beacon, that would be pretty damn nice, especially with the potential for a phase gate in server room. I'm trying to look at the map right now. You've got 2 Skulks especially into shipping and 1 Skulk fade in repair room near hub. Really nice job from a double Skulk and fade push, and nice, they forced the beacon. Looks like server room wasn't quite built in time. It's only on 8%. Really nice done from Ascension. That was perfect. Forcing the beacon just at the right time, but they're not in position to deal with the server room phase gate. It looks like they're going to reinforce and build that. And if they can get that map control, that's going to be significant. It's going to put Ascension in a really weak spot. Looks like they're trying to assist up repair room. MF trying to defend the door. Ject. Double fade onto Valk here, and they're outnumbering him, but they don't want to take him on. Looks like they're rotating around, trying to get behind him, trying to get to the phase gate, trying to get to the room. Where are they going? And they're trying to clear the passageway. If they can clear Mendas, that gives Scatter an opportunity to get into the base. But that's not going to be particularly significant, especially as Scatter is retreating and they got the phase gate from server room, hub and shipping. Good job from Nezra and Bonage taking on this extractor. Whip coming up. Bonage 1v1 up against Valk. His shotgun is way too effective for them. Takes on 2 Skulks. The Marines are actually slowing down on upgrades because the aliens have been doing pretty damn good on extractors. You can see they've only got weapons to armor 1. And they've been going pretty aggressive, but they've been losing extractors for it, and that's exactly what the aliens need to be doing. Jack takes a huge amount of damage. They need to be very careful up against this shotgun. Weapons 2 is a lot of damage. Weapons 2 shotgun's going to take off a lot of health from Ject and MF. Bonus, Scatter and Nezza, the 3 Skulks. Looks like they're actually pioneering here, going straight ahead. Jet coming in from the side, flanking, and then this looks like a triple kill. Very nice from these guys.
finally clearing up Grissi, although Grissi does get a kill onto Nezza, who was a Skulk with 60p res. So they did go the double fade, as I mentioned, which means they've saved just enough for one Onos, and Scatter can easily go Gorge, Bonish can go Gorge. They've got a couple of options, actually. Scatter could go Lurk. So right now, Ascension are kind of in the back foot, but they've got the potential. They can still win this. They've got two Fades still alive, which is fantastic. They've got an Onos P-Res available, and they've got enough for a Lurk as well. Nezza has gone Onos. Let's check out where he is, probably up here. Scatter and MF. Hopefully backing him up for a hub push. If they can clear these phase gates, this could actually be a game changer. Valken Reparo 1v1 up against, is that Jacked? Yep. Does scare him off with one shotgun blast. This is quite tense now. Nezza, he's a huge factor in this game. Looks like hub was completely undefended. Phase gate is pretty much doomed. No Onus upgrade though means he's got no charge. Makes him very vulnerable to long range fights, especially in hub, where these long corridors are a nightmare up against Marines. Bonus comes in to try and finish off Valkyries on the reload on his shotgun. Great job from these Fades, doing a fantastic job of clearing up Marines, forcing them to waste all the shotgun blasts. The Skulks come in and finish them up. And the 15 res damage is significant. Like, they're going to take hub back, and they've got 6 extractors, but doing that damage is pretty significant. And it looks like it allowed Bonish to get through into logistics, so this is difficult to call right now. They're going for Arc upgrade. If they can arc Warehouse from North Tunnel, that'd be pretty significant. Looks like Jack flanking Grissi, who's only got a rifle. MF and Jack looks like they've actually done it. Server room might be vulnerable. 2 Fades. I don't know, no, it's on the phase gate. This is really nice. They've taken out this phase gate. They're going to have to run to save it. They've actually sold it. Mendasp, Vulcan Icefort with a Mac. Nice Mac. That'll give them combat weld, and none of them will have to actually stop and actually do it. But they're bringing the Marines in to try and reflect the fact that they just lost the phase gate. Jekt comes in from behind Valk, gets a couple of swipes, and then misses a couple more and takes a lot of damage. And is actually in a pretty bad position right there. He could have been flanked by Icefort and Grissi, could have been caught out and taken out, but these guys got backed up. And an Armory was dropped, trying to stop this Onos, but it's gone now. Valk is in a really bad position. He couldn't get flanked very easily by MF. Shotgun misses, doesn't quite do enough to finish him off. And no phase getting server room. They do drop the blueprint just then. And that's probably bait. Hopefully they're thinking the Onos will waste maybe a couple of seconds going there, and they need those couple of seconds to reinforce hub. If they're smart, they'll just leave it there. Just leave it there. Don't touch it. It's 15 T-res they'll have no access to for a long time. Scan goes down. Power is down. Hub is ready. No Arc Factory yet. Mendas and Valk, they finish off a Drifter, which is nice. MF comes in with his fade. And again, well, Scatter's on 40p res. I'm not sure he's waiting for. They don't need 3 fades, so I think a Lurk could have been good, especially with a Lurk upgrade, but they need the second hive for that. This is a very difficult one to call. Sincerely, Godar have the advantage, but Ascension are in a good position to completely turn this around. If they can clear shotguns and phase gates, this could be a game changer. And just like this, Hub's almost undefended. Icefort long range, but we've only got a rifle, which means MF comes in with the reload and clears him up. Nezza, MF, and Jekt going to take this phase gate out. Rilo, and they spotted him. Very good job from MF and Jekt spotting Rilo just in time. Fantastic. They've taken him out, and that's Hub gone. Server room isn't built. They've actually sent a Mac there to finish it up with Grissi. And Nezza's doing a huge amount of damage to this robot factory. MF and Jekt need to get into server room, though, and try and clear up platform. Oh, they're doing such a great job on extractors, but there's so many that are built. They had 6 just then, and they've got 5 plus 1. Nezza running out of energy. Armor 2 is started, so they're actually somehow affording upgrades, despite losing a lot of phase gates and a lot of shotguns. Great job from Scatter, the Skulk, just hiding there, making sure he couldn't be hit, wasting Icefort shotgun blasts. MF comes in from behind and clears him up. Mendas as well is actually on the reload. And I'm not sure what's happened there. He ran out of all his ammo. I was trying to watch that carefully and it swapped. That was very strange. MF and Jekt with the Onos. So these guys are doing a great job of keeping this Onos alive, and we've got a good amount of P-res as well. So we might be seeing a couple of fade losses right now. There's one overcommitment there and a bad positioning, but they can afford to replace Nezza, though. He's completely caught out. They can't afford to replace the Onos. That's going to be critical. That was really bad positioning here. This was not safe. If you're going to attack server room from here, you've got to be quick or they're going to come from behind and take you out. So they can afford to replace the fade. But actually, if they're smart, they'll let Bonage go fade if he's good enough. It's, you know, you have your guys that go fade because they're best at fade, and you have your guys that go gorge because they're, you know, best at gorge. Swapping that around at this point might be a little bit of a cost there. I'm hoping Scatter saves for the Onos and Bonage saves for a fade, and we'll be seeing Cat packs. Very interesting. So this is something I wanted to discuss before the game, but I didn't really have time. So the Catpack, Jetpack, they're both pretty equal options against Onos and Fades. Jetpacks are essentially a lot stronger, but a lot more expensive, especially in terms of P-Res. But Catpacks, in terms of T-Res, are a lot more expensive, but they're pretty damn good too. Going for another Arc Factory. Well, they didn't upgrade it, but they're going for a Robot Factory. Armor 2's completed, and Catpack. Catpacks are a significant... They're a huge amount of investment in terms of T-Res, but if you get a couple of Catpacks on Marines with shotguns, I think unkillable is one word I'd use, but also they do so much damage because the reload is damn quick. The Catpacks are available. They're not actually backing up Icebot with the Catpack. Actually, you can see I think he's a little bit fast there. And you can tell by the reload speed. The reload speed is significant. Once the guy's got Catpack, you can see how fast he'll reload. And it's a T-Res investment, but if it wins you fights and wins you rooms, that's definitely worth it. Looks like Valk long-range shotgun blast onto this Harvester, not doing much damage. And Drifter probably come in and Mucus Membrane that. And this is looking like it's Godar's game right now. It looks like they've taken on a couple of Extractors and built some of their own. So they've got all the res. They did a good job taking out a couple of Fades, or a Fade and an Onos. Bonage and MF coming in to repair him. You see they've replaced the Fade. Bonage with his Fade actually overcommitting there. Good job from the Skulks backing him up though, and he doesn't get taken out, and they fly past. Wow, all processing could have been a dangerous room to fly past. Scatter Inject in repair room, and they're building that Harvester, so that's pretty risky, but if they can build it up, that's going to be very valuable. Scatter Inject onto Grissy. Great job. Pistol from Grissy takes out those two Skulks. That's a damn good job. Really impressive. And the Arc Factory is done. Looks like they're going to try and Arc or Processing and Warehouse at the same time. And all they've got to do is sort of hold this area here. And they can pretty much Arc 2 of the 3 rooms that... Actually, all of them, because they're going to take Repair Room with those guys. So the aliens only have 2 rooms. They've got an Arc on one and an Arc on the other. And the aliens don't have Bile Bomb. Wow, that's a significant weakness for them. MF comes in early, gets a huge shotgun blast, comes back in. A lot of damage being done to the Marines and a nice clear up from the alien side, which gives them the opportunity to take out this deployed Arc. Deployed Arcs have less armor, in fact no armor, which makes them very vulnerable if they're undefended. So they do take out the Arc, very nice from them. Grissy and Mendas finally coming in and getting an armory up. There is no Onos, so the armory isn't quite as significant, but it certainly affects the Fades. So the Fades want to fly through, but if they hit the armory, they'll lose all their momentum. They'll lose all their speed. And that could be an opportunity to open up with a shotgun blast that takes off maybe 30% health. So the armor is still really valuable even without the Onos on board. And the Arc is pretty much going to try and win the game for them at this point. They're going to just essentially hold North Tunnels, and maybe it's a mistake for the aliens to concentrate on it. Maybe not, it's hard to call. But at this point the Marines really want to fight in this room. And I thought they'd hold it actually, but they've done a pretty bad job of defending that room, even with I mean, they've tried for an observatory, they've built a lot of armory and sentries, they're investing a lot of T-Res into defending this room. But they're kind of losing. Bonage and MF, the 2 Fades, taking a lot of damage. Bonage is going to run out of energy, just as Rolo comes around the corner with a shotgun. Fantastic job from Bonage, very smart going around the corner. And it looks like Bonage has managed to retreat to the Hive to heal up. They've still got the Fades alive, but the Arcs are actually... finally involved, defended, and I think this might be a good game. Aliens are kind of running out of options at this point. They've had very little T-Res. Harvesters down to 1, Shells going down, Godar on 7 Extractors. They'll probably be working on Weapons 3 very soon. And that was a tense game, but that was close really. Godar had the advantage a lot of the time, but Ascension were definitely there with the opportunity to take the win. Good game is called. Wow. A lot of stuff in that game, a lot of stuff happened. I think if they could have kept that Onos up, protected it with the Fades a little bit better, this mezzanine push was a little bit short-sighted. They kind of got cornered and taken out from both sides, but that was a close game. And that's 2-0 to Godar. Oh, good game. So it looks like that map choice was actually Ascension's, so they chose Tram and then lost 2 rounds on it, which is unfortunate. We will be moving on to Summit, and there's no way these guys haven't practiced Summit. This is one of the most popular maps around. But I think it probably will end up being Godar's strongest map if they've chosen it. And the fact is, it's the oldest map really. It's one of the most standard competitive 66 maps there is. So Godar's one of the most long-running teams there are, so they're going to be strong on this map. So this is going to be a difficult one for Ascension. But I have faith. They did pretty well in that second round. Very well. Very well. I like the fact that they didn't really keep up on upgrades, the Alien team, but they did keep their stuff alive. They had a lot of they lost one shell, kept the second one and the third one as well, and they kept all their life forms. They didn't invest enough T-res. I mean, the Crag and the Whips are really valuable. You've got to make sure you're using them. They've got a lot of purpose and value, and you've got to make sure you're dropping them to keep your harvests alive, or just delay the Marines. And a Crag is extremely effective at delaying Marines because it soaks up damage, forces them to shoot one target rather than the other. And if you're fighting around a Crag as well, that gives you a significant advantage. I mean, if you've got a Skulk 1v1 up against a Marine, but he's got a Crag and regen, or Crag and Carapace, that's significant. That's a lot more damage that the Marine has to do to secure a win there. So, I haven't covered this at all enough. This is the Natural Selection 2 World Championship quarterfinals. This is Godar versus Ascension. Godar's a European team, Ascension is an Australian team, and right now these teams are playing for a position at the Cologne live semi-finals, which is coming up at February 22nd. I will be there, the semi-final, and the finalists will be there. We'll have Red Dog, Wasabi 1, I think Hugh will be there, we'll have Zephram, and a bunch of community guys, me, Zinky, and my buddy Hoach, we're going to be there. We'll be having fun, we'll be having drinks, and I'm sure these guys will be having fun and having drinks once they've won, if they get to the semi-finals and the finals. So this is pretty important. Ascension, they're not out yet. It's the first of 4 wins, best of 7. So even if they lose this next round, they still can win. It's first of 4. So Ascension aren't out yet, and from the games I've seen previously, they don't get down, they don't quit. They play well as long as they can. And if they win, then that's going to be expensive fight tickets for the Australian team. But I won't mind. I think that'd be great. It'd be really nice to see these Australian guys win. That'd be awesome. It'll speak a lot to the idea of a world championship, actually. So definitely the underdogs are Ascension. I'm sure we're all rooting for them. But Godar are a really strong team, so it's going to be a really difficult task to take these guys on and win. So if we take a quick look at the map. Summit is pretty standard. It's a pretty fair diamond shape, so you've got this kind of you'll spawn on the outside in one of the hives and you'll get cross spawn, so if the aliens spawn on one side, then the Marines will definitely spawn on the opposite side rather than, for example, to the left or right. In general, I'm sure we'll be seeing a gorge tunnel connecting up. For example, if the aliens do spawn, which is not necessarily true in sub-access, I'm sure we'll be seeing a gorge tunnel connecting computer lab and ventilation, because there's significant advantages to that. And on the Marines, phase gates are quite useful on Summit. It's not necessary, it's not, in terms of early upgrades, weapons 2 is, shotguns are maybe more valuable. And other than that, I mean, it's a pretty standard map. You just try and hold map control, try and win combat, try and sneak through some of these vents. There's some really nice vents. Obviously this one could get through from the left to the right, and you've got a similar one here that allows you to connect the 2 Comp Lab ventilation up. Yeah, so we need to make sure that the Ascension, they need to make sure that they're holding their extractors and making sure they don't get base rushed. There's definitely potential for that. If some of these vents make it very difficult to hold your base carefully. So mines, maybe we'll be seeing mines for that purpose. And extractors are going to be extremely important. They need to hold their extractors, keep on upgrading upgrades, and buying shotguns and not losing phase gates, stuff like that. If they can keep up on that and then take out a life form like a lurk or a fade early on in their life, this could be an Ascension win. I mean, this is pretty much standard. You can take a win if you can play well. So I'm not counting Ascension out yet. Anyway, I'm ready. So later on today, we've got a couple more matches. We got Wasabi1 on the twitch.tv/Natural Selection 2 channel. He's casting a couple of games, or just one game, a couple of, I can't remember what, a couple of teams. You'll have to work out yourself, I'm afraid. And he's casting with Red Dog. Red Dog going to be on co-cast. Actually, that's pretty rare, isn't it? I don't think Red Dog co-casts. Usually he has a co-caster, but okay, that's fine. And we've also got Blind. I think actually Blind is coming up earlier than that, so check out Blind's cast before Wasabi's. And I think that's on twitch.tv/blindns2. And these are all great games. You've got Titus versus Radical yesterday. That was pretty much a stomp. Radical played well, but Titus are a really strong team, so they took a 4-0. We've got Godar versus Ascension right now, and the other teams that remain are probably something like Imagine, Snails, Sornaman, and maybe Retiring? But I'm not quite sure. Anyway, whatever match Sornaman's involved in, I think will be a really good match to watch. Sornaman are a great team. And I'm definitely going to be watching them myself as well. So check out those games when they're up later on. If you want to know more about the NS2WC, check out the website. Just Google NS2WC. You'll be sent straight to the website. Click on the schedule or check out the blog post, check out the news. We've got the live event in Cologne. This is Germany in February 22nd. So that's a couple of months away, or it's a month and a half. It looks like we are going live. We are on an American server, so everyone's got 200 ping. I've actually got 150 somehow, but we are going live on Summit. Ascension on the Marine team, Godar on the Alien team. Great, this is going to be a good match. So we've got Aliens spawning in the north, Godar with the Atrium spawn and Sub-Axis spawn for the Marines. Going for that again, early arms lab, and I can't remember what they got. I think it was Armor 1. There's the Armor 1 started, and a 2-2 split with an early Gorge. Couple of Drifters are whipping a Crag, so that's really... They've got a build order and they've got a plan. And that's actually a weakness and a strength. I'll try and discuss that if I get time. So Godar gets an early loss, actually. They go really aggressive. They're very quick. I wasn't ready for that at all. Ventilation, they tried to rush it and clear these guys out, but they didn't quite pull it off. And that's going to secure 2 extractors for Ascension nice and early. Really good job from Ascension defending that. Vulcan Icefelt looking at this vent right now. This vent's strong because it gives them the opportunity to take either comp lab or ventilation, depending on what they decide is probably more vulnerable. MF comes through the door. They hear that. Door's going to close soon enough. Valk actually tries to get the Parasite, revealing himself, and I'm not sure he actually tagged him. I think he might have missed, but I'm not sure. Jekt and Scatter looking to make it into flight control and data core as well from Bonage and Neza. Really nice job from these guys. Taking a lot of extractors nice and early, but this is all predicated on the fact that if they can defend, they hold these extractors, and that's going to be difficult. Nice job from Godar actually just sneaking right through. Looks like MF fell back. He didn't die, but he did fall back, and he's very nice shot from Neza though. Godar, so good. So they've got this entrance covered and this entrance covered, and then Valk knows he's just covered the other entrance, so he comes in to help on the MF, and he gets taken out. And Godar doing a fantastic job. Mendef's getting a kill on Bonage up in data core, and they haven't built flight control anywhere near quick enough. They lose ventilation. Data core is now extremely vulnerable, and they lose extractor there. That's really unfortunate for Ascension. Very weak already. And it looks like the Armor 1 upgrade has not been anywhere near valuable enough for them. Even with Armor 1, it looks like they're struggling a little bit, and Godar just taking map control. You can see they've got ventilation, reactor core and crevice. 100% built. Crag on a whip on that, Crag on this, and that's the importance of Crags. They slow down Marines. If they do finally get into crevice, they'll be slow to kill that Harvester, and the aliens, they might die, or they might come across the other side of the map, but they have plenty of time to defend. Computer Lab's vulnerable as well. Icefelt doing a RT harass there. And you've got Neza and Bonage nowhere near each other. Similar positions on the map, but they can't cover each other, and Valk gets a nice 1v1 kill. Bonage into Crossroads. But there's no aggression. Finally ejected into crevice, but it's slow. It takes 2 minutes to get into an aggressive position. And this Crag, look how effective it is. No damage is going to be done. He did 30%, but it's all going to get healed up in about 20 seconds. Bonage gets a kill, and Godar are doing so well, and this is really showing off the importance of these Crags. Look at that, 100%. That guy got into crevice and did no damage. Scatter coming into flight control, but he's already low health. Mendef's going to drop down, double bite. Gets the kill onto Scatter, and Ascension are looking weak right now, very weak. The Armor 1 is nowhere near significant enough. And I'm sure they were hoping it was going to help them win combat, but it's not. They're losing a lot of combat, they're losing a lot of fights, and that's meaning a lot of extractors are going down. Jekt taking on a 2v1, Mendef takes him out before Gristy can even assist him. And Bonage coming in, they need to group up. Bonage was not available to help out his teammate Jekt there, and then Bonage gets a nice 1v1. Mendef's low, he's actually coming for the combat. Parasite comes down. If you're going to die, getting the Parasite off first is pretty handy. MF and Neza coming into Reactor Core. It's defended by a Whip, a Crag, a Drifter, and Rilo. That's a lot of things. Just for one player, that's a lot of defense. Gristy and Valk coming in, so this is showing off how they didn't even take the cyst out before these guys can back them up. Really nice speed from the aliens here. And looks like Valk might get the kill. Actually, a lot of pistol damage. Fantastic, but not quite enough. You can see the Crag heal wave put Valk up to just about enough health to survive that last pistol shot. And that's just easily shows off the importance of the Crags on your outer extractors. Mendev's taking out flight control. We've got the early lurk, Icefelt into computer lab, and MF comes in. If you can get a kill here, this would change the game, but he does get out nice and safe. Icefelt comes through to ventilation. Looks like he's trying to try and flank Jekt up at flight control. Looks like Rilo might be waiting for that. You can see the flight from the Icefelt all the way through. And mucous membrane. So he flies towards the drifter, gets a little bit of heal. Jekt is forced to retreat, but this isn't a great position. He's going to get completely outnumbered. A lot of med packs, but not enough to stop him. He takes out. Actually, he took a lot of damage onto Icefelt, which was nice, but not enough to kill him. Icefelt upgrading. Mendas on the extractor. Again, a really tense match, because whilst Ascension are losing a huge amount of combat, they've got 5 extractors, which is really impressive. I don't know how. I don't know how they're losing so many fights and yet holding 5 extractors. But Godar are going to be on 4 if they can hold Crossroads. One guy moving into Crossroads. Scatter versus Rilo, 1v1. Rilo doing a great job of finishing off whoever he just killed there. And in Crossroads, you've got the Drifter moving in to try and actually build this nice one from Bonage. Great positioning, great forethought. Drifter's extremely low, finish it off. Cyst is gone, Harvest is doomed. Mucous Membrane was a waste of money as well. This thing is dead. There's no saving it now. Where's the Lurk? The Lurk coming in through Summit Reception, and another Drifter comes in. You've got Mendas and the Lurk. Bonage and Jekt not in a great position to watch each other on a reload. Actually doing a great job, line of sight, clearing up Bonage's attacker, but does get taken out eventually, and then Jekt gets taken out. Scatter coming in for the reinforcement, but a little bit late. Does get a 1v1 onto Grissy, but Icefelt comes in with the Lurk backing him up. Cyst is dropped. Looks like this extractor might be saved, so maybe I was wrong about the mucous membrane. Looks like there was just enough mucous membrane to save it. So really good job from Godar, investing their T-res again to save an extractor. And they look at that, they moved this up. They know that they're defending Crossroads, or at least this direction, by holding Crossroads, and then they can hold this one more securely because it's a much tighter corridor. They would have to snipe from here. And really good job from Godar. Scatter and MF, long range. Icefelt comes in, doing a little bit of spike damage, but not a huge amount. Scatter and MF, great job onto the Skulk that flies in, and Icefelt is forced to retreat through Crossroads, but he's a little bit caught out. Bonage inject, if they're smart, if they're on the ball, they might be able to take him out, but no, he goes for the vent. And there's no one at Computer Lab. They call it. Good job from Godar. Nice communication saying Computer Lab is clear, come through here. And maybe a push into the base. Observatory is down. I think that's pretty good radius. They would have spotted that Skulk and the other Skulk and the Lurk. Nez getting caught out by Grissy. Base is vulnerable. Observatory is dropped. They might force a beacon. Beacon is forced. If they're quick, they can kill it. Not enough time. Slayer gets out of the comp share. Icefelt with 10%, but he's completely safe because there's no one outside the map because they forced a beacon. Valk and Grissy going straight for the extractors. As soon as the beacon is forced, you go straight for the extractors. If there's no phase gates up, you know that the Marines are all stuck in this kind of radius around the Marine base. And they go straight for the extractors because they'll know it'll be safe to do that. Valk, Grissy, trying to slow these guys down so that they can secure the extractor kill. Valk does get spotted. Looks like he goes for a reactor core kill. There's another Skulk to help him out there. Menaf's going to get taken out before he can finish this. And looks like they're trying to force another beacon. Scatter with a perfect double shotgun blast. This is a great time to have the shotguns come out, especially when the fades are looking like they're going to be coming out at about the 7.5, maybe 8 minute mark. Great job into Crossroads taking that. I mean, this is really good from Ascension. This is all about extractors. The fact is they lost huge amounts of combat, but even so, they held extractors. You can see flight control taking infestation damage. But they've held the extractors, they've maintained upgrades, weapons 1, armor 1, shotguns, observatory, and they can afford another upgrade as well. 30 T-res is enough for a weapons 2. Or they can save for phase gates. A lot of options right now. They need to be careful though, these 2v1s and losing the shotguns, that's going to be a doomed shotgun. That's a huge mistake. You can't be affording to leave these shotguns on the ground to die. Neza coming in to back him up, but Valk takes him out. Really nice job from Valk there. Jekt coming in with another shotgun, gets a kill. MF looks like he recycled that shotgun, so great job from Ascension. You can't afford to waste shotguns at this point. You have to be recycling them. You have to pick them back up when they're dropped. And Ascension now back onto 3 extractors, losing flight control and data core, which is now taken by the alien side, and flight control looks like it might be taken as well. So Godar are really being smart about the investment right now. They're spending a lot of T-res on harvesters, and that's got a lot of benefit to it. You might lose the harvester pretty quick, but you'll get a couple of P-res out of that, which can mean earlier fades, which might be the difference between killing Marines when they push or not. So there's definitely a lot of value to taking these harvesters. They're a lot more risky. Jekt didn't cover his teammate very well there. MF gets taken out, and the Fades have done a fantastic job. No damage taken by them, and they clear up these shotgunners, and there's a couple of shotguns in Datacore that will be, I think, dooms. I don't think they'll recover those. Mendas flies past Scatter, not seeing him. Rilo comes out, deals with a 1v1 onto Scatter, but takes a lot of damage. I think he swiped him just about. You can see they're actually converging. Look at this fantastic team play. They've actually got 3 Fades. This is untraditional. So they didn't go Gorge, which is actually something I thought they might do. They didn't go Gorge, I don't believe. Saving for the 3 Fade. And the 3 Fade, I don't even know. I've not seen that since the Fade nerfs. But that implies a lot of weakness and strength. So Icefall takes a lot of damage. So they... Wow, the 3 Fades. So that means they're going for strong combat. They want to win fights, and that's really what they want to concentrate on. The weakness of the 3 phases means they've only got 1 Skulk, which means they've only got 1 RT Harasser. And it means they've only got 1 guy to do a significant amount of damage to the phase gate. Fantastic, taking out Rilo, stuck there with no energy, up against these 2 shotgunners at his back, and overcommitting, and now they're back on 2 fades. So all that talk about the 3 fade advantage, and it's pointless, now it's gone. They've lost the fade, they saved instead of the Gorge going for a fade, and they've lost it. Really nice job from Ascension, and they're probably thinking, fantastic, they're down a fade, but they've still got 2 remaining. Neza and Jax, and these shotguns have been damn awesome. Really nice job from these guys, even with only weapons 1. It looks like Jake's getting caught out. Neza's not quite available there. Takes a huge amount of damage already. And those guys, I don't think they played that well at all. They didn't cover each other. They didn't protect each other. They went straight into that room, not thinking about the consequences, really, if you want to put it that way. Bonage, MF, Scatter, with their shotguns, looking to take a reactor core, maybe a phase getting reactor core, maybe get a bit of a push onto these spurs, or is it shells? Double shell in the base. They haven't even got 3 shells. No wonder the phase got taken out quite quickly. Rilo and Grissi, double Skulk versus Neza with a rifle, not doing a lot of damage there. Does take out, actually. Rilo was quite impressed with that. But the fades come in. Base is vulnerable. Valk's looking to poke it, scout it out, see what's there. Actually, maybe just taking on the respawner, who's going to be a solo. Looks like the triple shotgun push went into Crossroads, but they're taking huge amounts of damage. You actually saw a cyst explosion there. So the commander's got the 2 biomass, and he's supporting them with that, and they're trying to blind them. I don't actually know how effective that is, because I've never actually been hit by it. Because whenever I play pubs, I just don't get hit. No one uses it. But it's kind of funny to see it right now. I'm pretty sure it blinds you. I don't think it has any other effects, though. So in terms of, it's interesting, but I'm not sure it's going to change the game anyway. Rilo, not in a great position there, actually. Usually when you want to grind the gate, you'll have a guy here and a guy here, or maybe even closer, but you want this kind of direction. Wow, Menef gets taken out in this corridor. I'm staggered he didn't get out safely. MF and Scatter. That was a strange push. That was really not very well thought out at all. Because these guys were in Crossroads and they went data core. So they obviously went this way to defend, and then they got taken out. That's a strange one. It's a strange one from Godar, and it's probably going to cost them. They're down onto 1 fade. Where's the guy with the most P-res? Grissi on 53. And I'm going to point out something significant in a second after this combat. You can see Godar has just taken 4 harvesters built and 2 potential, 1 now potential. Looks like it just got lost at data core maybe, or computer lab. But they're on 5 harvesters. That means they're rushing this Ono, so they need it out right now. I think they feel like they're probably going to be losing map control if they don't. And wow, Slayer jumps through, kills the... He's the commander, he jumps through, gets an alert kill. It was fantastic. How the hell did he get out of that grind? That's mad. I can't believe that jump, that was mad. MF and Jeg looking like they're trying to take flight control. The Phasegate tech is done. Slayer's going to be respawned back in the comp chair soon enough, and that's going to be a 30 TRS investment for the Phasegates perhaps. Scatter versus Volk. Mendasp. Volk comes in 1v1 up against the Fade. There's no way you're going to take that on, especially if you don't do enough damage. Phasegate's done. Into flight control, but it's a little bit defensive, it's a little bit cowardly, and at the moment the Harvest is actually built there, so this is the alien's room right now, apart from the Phasegate. Crag comes in. Look at this Crag. They get the Crag involved, so this 1v2 is, get the advantage, as much advantage as possible in combat. Really nice job from Godar. It's Ioros in Commander. He's just making really smart decisions with his T-Res investments. We've got Bonage and Neza trying to take back ventilation, and this is important because they're really running out of extractors, and we'll check the res graph in a second. You can see right now the Marines had a pretty good lead, and then it's sort of changed now. I'd say that's about the 10-minute mark when the Fades came out, probably, or the Fades started getting a lot of kills. In fact, if we check the kills, you can see the 10-minute mark, the kills went in the alien favour at about that point. So we've got Valk in solo defense, and you can see the power of this Crag. Just 1 Skulk and 1 Fade can hold the entirety of Data Core for enough time for Icefolk to come in and back him up. He needs to be careful, because they got quite a lot of damage from that shotgun.
Bonus, he's the target. Really nice flank from Valk, and then in comes the Skulk to finish him off with a little bit of spike damage. Ventilation is now vulnerable. Rilo comes in, Skulk helping as well. And a lot of assist all over the map. You can see the alien map control. They're trying to sort of take this now. They're trying to give up Crevice for ventilation instead, which is strange, but I'd be surprised if the Marines built Crevice, so it's probably a smart decision. This triple guy here. I think they've all got shotguns, one rifle actually. Ventilation did get taken out. Bonage in defense. Actually, Rilo gets taken out. He's an Skulk that took out the Extractor. Rilo and Bonage double push into ventilation here, and Rilo got taken out. Bonage solo defense. Looks like he can rebuild this. Wow, this is another tense game. Godar have a definite advantage. They've got a lot of resources. They've got the Onos out. Grissy with 5 P-res plus Onos there. And it looks like he's actually in the south. Maybe pushing the base. Where are these guys? Where are they? Beacon's going to be forced. Depending on the proficiency of these guys when they come out the respawn wave. Nice and safe. Beacon's forced. Crossroads is now defended. Really good job from Godar. It looks like a Skulk went into the phase gate at flight control. But it looks like they might actually take ventilation. This is pretty much becoming a Godar favoured game significantly now. I mean, the Marines are kind of running out of plays. MF with 45 P-res, but other than that, they're kind of running out. Kill that drifter! Kill the drifter! Oh! Okay, they went straight for a phase gate rush, so they clearly got their priorities. Drifter spots them though. Drifter still gives line of sight on Marines, I believe, despite them not being a scouting unit anymore. And there's the cyst explosion. MF gets blinded, gets completely outnumbered. Phase gate was only 66% built. Grissy was there anyway, even if it was built. That would have been a massive grind. It would have been a huge loss if they tried to get anyone through there. Comp lab is down. Ascension only have 2 extractors, finally rebuilding there. But when you compare to Godar's 5 and maybe 6 if they take Crevice as well, this is looking like an extreme Godar win right now. Check out the team resources. It was pretty even. That's pretty much even at that point for anything before that line. And then at this point, it's becoming a little bit of an alien advantage, despite the fact that it doesn't appear like it. That is pretty much an alien advantage. MF inject. Looks like they took out a couple of Skulks. Some at reception. There's nothing wrong with losing a couple of Skulks, but there's nothing wrong with killing them either. MF inject. Looks like they're going for the power node again. Welding it up, MF going for the whip. On the reload, Valk's going to come in on the 6th shot. Actually reloading on the 5th, which is nice from MF. Valk a little bit stuck. A double shotgun blast really could have ruined him there. Could have been a kill, especially. Actually, they've already got weapons 1. Fight still haven't got weapons 2, which is really costing them. Look at that bone wall. Really strange decision there. Cutting Mendas off from his attack. Scatter underneath the vent there. Icebot takes a lot of shotgun damage. Mendaf's going to come in and clear up Scatter. Jek gets a team kill onto MF, which is unfortunate. Grissy with loads of health. His Onos is clearing up these guys who have neither cat packs nor jet packs. They don't have weapons too, and there's nothing they can do about the Onos right now. Pretty much any attack he initiates, he'll pretty much be fine in, unless it's against the base and like maybe 3 or 4 Marines is too many. Overall though, he's pretty safe, and this is looking like a Godar win. I don't think Ascension have much to play with. So slow and steadily they're pushing out their base. Looks like ventilation was fully built by the aliens. Nether and Bonage, they're clearing up 3%. They might try and rebuild that, but that'll be a huge mistake seeing as the Onos is just around the corner. And if they do tap a phase gate, an extractor there, they'll just rush the Onos in, who doesn't actually have charge, but he's still going to be quick enough to deal with these guys. And nice positioning. I don't think they'll be able to kill Grissy there because it's too far away for the shotguns to do significant damage. And Icefelt backing up with the ranged attacks. Really nice from Grissy. Comes in just in time to finish off Neza. MF is dead. He's dead. Nice one. Flight control, I'm sure they predicted this. In fact, they know they had a Skulk just die there. And the Marines are so behind on upgrades. We're at the 17-minute mark, and they haven't got weapons 2. I've seen teams get weapons 2 at about the 3 or 4-minute mark. And this is not looking good. Godar really taking their time with this win. Really slow and steady. I mean, they're all about resources. It's just they know it. The game is all about resources, and that's how they play. So they're building up crevice, ventilation. Wow, okay, there's the good game. I'm not sure what happened in the last 10 seconds, but they realised they lost. 6 extractors finished there for Godar. Really nice job from them. And I'm going to take a quick bio break, as I've needed to for about the last 5 minutes. But we'll be moving into round 4 soon enough, and this is probably going to be an important round, because essentially for the next 4 rounds, unless this is over before that point, Ascension need to win each one. I'll be right back. Okay, I've returned. I'm just checking a couple of things. So with my stream at the moment, if you've been getting lag, again, as I always say now, it's not me. I've got a great connection. I've moved out. I got a new place a couple of months ago. My connection is damn good. My computer's not quite as good as my connection, but it's not lagging. FPS might go down briefly at certain moments, but no, actually it's usually not a problem from top down, which is surprising because it's got to render everything. I mean, look at all that. It's got like 5 rooms to render just on this one screen. So I'm surprised the FPS is quite as good as it is. I don't know how they've managed that. But my connection is great. If you've got lag, I don't know what to recommend other than reduce the quality of the stream. Let's just cover what we're actually doing right now. So this is the Natural Selection 2 World Championship, and there's been 4 quarterfinals this weekend, and this is the second one. We've got 2 more quarterfinal matches coming up, and we had one yesterday from Red Dog. That was a good game. I think that was Titus versus Radical. Right now you've got Ascension versus Godar. The winners here of this game, which looks like it might be Godar, but Ascension aren't out yet, is going to be heading to Cologne. So if Godar win this next round, we'll be meeting Valk, Grissi, Rilo, Ioros, Icefeld and Mendas probably in Cologne, and that's going to be in February 22nd, which is going to be a pretty damn good weekend. I'm looking forward to it so much. But Ascension are not out. They can still go to Cologne. They'll have their tickets paid for by the World Championship funds if they can win the next 4 rounds. And actually, I'll be honest, they played really well in that second round when they were aliens. It was close, it was good, they had everything they needed to win. A couple of mistakes cost them it, but they can still take the win in this next round. Their strongest has so far been on their alien. So this is going to be a great round to see. Hopefully Ascension could take this one, pick up their morale and push through, choose a map that they want to play, win it, and then we can have a nice 3-3 at the end there. That'll be damn awesome. But Godar are playing so well. So well. They're all about extractors, they're all about resources, and they've got 2 priorities, I think. It's just outsmarting the enemy, so trying to think, well, like, where are they, what are they doing, and making sure they don't get caught out. And second priority is extractors, make sure you're keeping those up, making sure you keep those defended. And those 2 priorities overlap in some ways, so early on, your gameplay is all about extractors. Like, you start with 1, you build another 2, hopefully you can build 1 or 2 more, and you've got to keep as many as you can, so you can keep upgrading. And we saw in that previous round, Ascension on Marines, they were struggling because they couldn't keep their extractors up. They always had to replace them. It's expensive to replace extractors, and it means you can't afford upgrades, and we saw that. Weapons 2 did not even get upgraded about the 17-minute mark, and I think that's pretty much when it ended. So, Godar, great team. Ascension on aliens. I wonder if we'll be seeing this early lurk that I talked about. I mean, this is a really interesting play, and it seems to have worked for them. It seems to work for them really well. In fact, from Ascension, I saw a couple of base rushes on aliens. They sort of, I don't know, they had this kind of biomass 2 lurk egg and then a base rush, I think, or am I thinking of something else? And it was really effective. Oh, I should probably say I'm ready because they're waiting for me. I'm such an idiot. Wow, goddamn. Wow. Unless they're live, no. Yeah, the early lurk is it was pretty significant, and it's really interesting because it saves you a lot of P-res. If you've got a guy pick up a T-res lurk, then he's got just as much P-res as everyone else, which means he can go Onos, or if he dies early on, he can go Fade, or if he dies sooner than that, he can go lurk again. And it's really interesting to see that kind of gameplay. It's really something different, and it's certainly probably an Australian metagame thing. It's definitely not European or North American stuff we see. But right now, Godar have always been one of my favourite teams. They're just so cerebral and intelligent. They just do the right stuff at the right times. They don't make mistakes, really. In fact, I try and call out when teams make mistakes when I'm casting, and I haven't been able to for Godar this so far today. I haven't really seen any. They're just smart, and they don't. I think overall they don't leave holes in their defences. They've always got a plan. Like, there's vents and stuff, and it's hard to control the whole map, or at least like a whole wave of the map. So, for example, something like that. If you want to try and control that kind of map control, it's hard to stop aliens from getting through. But they manage it. They manage it a lot, and that's impressive. And that's what wins them the game, I think. So Ascension right now, they need to be a little bit unpredictable. They need to try and get through the Marine defense somehow. I mean, I'm not a pro player. I'm just a caster, so I can't tell them how. But I think that's something they need to concentrate on. They need to stay on the extractors, get their early lurk up maybe, depends on what they want to do. They didn't do it in the second round, and it seemed to work out quite well. And, well, it's going to be difficult, but I have faith. I think they'll be alright in this round. I think this could be an Ascension win. And we could be seeing a 3-1 before this is over. Just need to be more careful with the Onos, and the Fades were really well played in those previous rounds. And the Onos was very effective, but some of that positioning wasn't quite what it needed to be. Yeah. So I did say I was ready. Maybe they didn't see it. Great. Okay, I haven't actually been reading chat. I can apologise for that if you'd like. I'm sorry. I have no idea what you guys have been saying. I don't even know how many people are watching. It could be like 5,000. If it was 5,000, I'd actually start getting nervous and be like, oh my god, 5,000 people. So I won't look. And also the chat, I don't read it in case you guys are being extremely rude about my accent or my music or my face, which you can't see, but you can still be rude about it. So avoiding all that, which is nice. I just want to watch the game and cast it. It's something I enjoy doing for some reason. And I can avoid all the I don't actually get that much harassment. I'm sure if I did this for other games, like if I started casting for Dota 2, people would rage. They'd be like, oh my god, this guy's an idiot. He doesn't know anything about jungling. I'd be like, yeah, I don't know anything about jungling. I don't do it. And they'd be mad. But I know this game really well. I have fun playing it. Like, I've been playing it so much. Have you guys been playing Eclipse? It's such a great map. It's got a couple of issues. Like, Access Alpha is pretty much the longest hallway in the entire game. I mean, look at Crevice. It's pretty long. It's about half as long as Access Alpha. So, I don't know what that's about, but, you know, it seems to be there. Looks like Godar have reconnected one of their 6 players, so... Wow. That's honest. Wow. So, I think actually Icefelt is actually streaming this game, so if you're getting bored of me, go and watch Icefelt stream. Because I think he's doing it from first-person view for the sake of one of an admin's rulings about the fact that he was caught something about cheating. I'm sure he wasn't doing it badly or something. Don't know. If you want to check out a first-person stream from Godar's point of view, hopefully with team communications, you'll have Icefelt's first-person spec, all that kind of stuff, which you won't get from me, because there is no first-person spec if I try. This is MF's first-person spec that I get from Spectator. It doesn't work, it's bugged. And that's because it's a combination of things. Essentially, the game is bugged where if you've got first person up on a player, and then also lag. So if I'm lagging with him, or there's like a differential between our pings that's quite significant, he will experience more lag for the sake of me watching his first person view, which is somehow countered by third person view. So that's being countered. But that'll actually be, well, not fixed, but there'll be no problem, and first person will be activated for the live finals, because there will be no lag, there'll be no ping differentials, because they'll all be in Germany. So first person won't be a problem. And also in general, I don't really do this kind of stuff. I don't know why. I just prefer to watch the top down. Just how I think, how I play, and how I want to watch the game. We're going live in 10 seconds. So this is an extremely important round. We are going into Godar versus Ascension round 4. This is a best of 7, so this 4th round is critical. At this point, Godar at any time could take the win, secure themselves a place in the semi-finals. They just got to win one more round out of the next 4. And I'm sure they'll be able to manage it, but we'll see what Ascension can pull out. Early Armory. This is strange, because the previous rounds that Godar played Marine, they went for an early infantry portal, and no Armory for a very long time. There's the mines. They're worried about a base rush. Ascension rushing straight through the crossroads. Looks like they're trying to actually pierce the southern side of the map. Triple push, Icefelt, Volk, and Rilo into crossroads. And there's very little defense right now. Drift is going to get taken out. It's actually just about managed to escape with about 6% health. These aliens are playing all wrong right now. They're just hiding and waiting to get hunted. Jex and Neza, they're trying to get through. Neza, nice one, just managed to penetrate the marine defense. Actually, wow, and there's the shift, crag upgrade. There's the mucus membrane. The mines are down. Mendas mining everything up. The mine's going to drop, and they're going to all die in one. Oh my goodness, so close. Double mine actually kills each other, and they've got 4. Hurry up! This is a base rush. Hurry up! Bonus and Scatter. They're on their IP. It's got really low, but they're so slow on that. It finally gets killed. That was close though. They almost didn't kill the IP, and that's a pretty good start. They built an armory rather than the IP. They've lost an IP, which means they've got no respawns. They're gonna have to reinvest 20 T-res. They sold the armory to get more money, so we'll see all this in a second, I'm sure. They do finally defend the base, so they sell the armory to get a bit more money. You can see they were struggling. They've got the mines already, so that's fair enough. They've got mines in their base defending. They've got an IP finally, so those 2 guys that died in the base finally get to respawn. Lucky them. MF and Scatter coming through crossroads. Bonish. These guys are playing hyper aggressive. They don't want to slow down. They don't want to risk anything. Jekt gets caught out, takes a huge amount of damage. That's unfortunate for him. It might go back to base to heal, might not. Scatter gets another load of damage on the Scatter, and he gets pretty much taken out of the fight there. Bonage, MF, and Neza, fantastic. That's an Extractor down, and Ascension are playing this perfectly right now. Just enough defense to counter the two guys that push their base, enough huge amount of offense to clear these Extractors. Hurry up and kill it before you all get taken out. MF stays on it because he's the low health, and Bonage full health goes for the combat. Nice job. I'm pretty impressed by Mendabs actually getting a kill on a Skulk there, but Bonage and MF played that damn nicely. Bonage and MF, they got a Drifter maybe to support them with the Mucus Membrane for a bit of extra armor. Crag and Whip invested into Computer Lab. But Ascension not taking enough risks with the Harvesters, and they're going to be low on P-Res if they sit around and wait for a perfect opportunity for an Extractor, which I think is a mistake, although they're playing hyper-aggressive, so it's hard to call because you can't afford to... A risk is a big risk if you're playing aggressive in terms of T-Res. So it looks like Neza got taken out near this vent. Jekt and Scatter are nearby, and they really want to group up and try and get into the enemy base. I can almost hear them. They really want to get through, and they're playing so aggressive and so quick. And Godar are kind of prepared for it, kind of not. It's working out a little bit. Valk's up there in the north, so they didn't defend Crossroads well enough. So that Valk comes through, kills about 5 cysts, which is actually quite significant. That's a lot of T-Res. Extractor dropped at Reactor Core. Ventilation's not safe. They dropped it. It's building. It's sucking up reses. I'm talking like an idiot. So much going on. MF comes down the long corridor, Scatter as well. Neza comes in from behind. Nice flank onto Icefall. And now Rilo is alone up on Computer Lab. And there's a Crag there to support Neza. So he's going to be on full health soon enough if he's smart enough to stick around, get the extra health. Jekt, fantastic. Takes out the Extractor, jump down. Waste Grissy's time. Actually, he's going for an escape. Reload on Grissy. He's got very low rifle. He's going for the pistol shot. Nice. Gets a triple pistol and does manage to finish him off. Rilo covering a long corridor. Nice! Ascension playing really well. A little bit too defensively. Like, they're running on 2 Harvesters, which is kind of costing them. It's a late lurk, 3.5 minutes. And no shells. It's just difficult to call. But they're doing a great job of harassing the Extractors that Godar have built. MF, and you can see he's about to drop on this Grissy. He's only got 2 bites worth of health. And Bonus gets taken out before MF can deal with him. But that's a secure Extractor kill. And I'm sure someone's aggressive right now. Yep, there's the crevice push. Looks like Skulk went down in ventilation. Jekt in Atrium supposedly, but he's definitely not. Scatter, Lurk needs to head to crevice, finish this off, and we need a group push onto Comp Lab, clear up the southern side. Ventilation Extractor has been built for a long time. That's a target that they need to think about. Reactor Core as well is built. But other than that, we're seeing a good job from Ascension. Neza gets caught out, hunted by Valk. Really nice job, and Rilo was also... these guys knew he was there. They called it. Let's say, like, he's in the vent, let's push it. Slow and steady, we'll kill him. Skulk Lurk into Crossroads. Good job clearing those up before the Extractor was built. Crevice is being taken. The potential here is that they can actually clear this and before it's even built. Fantastic. And that's... Oh, he gets the power node! So close! That is one... So in pub play, everyone always says, oh, don't build the power node fully. Build it first, but don't build it fully. There's one example of when it could have actually cost them quite a lot if they hadn't built it fully. Because if he hadn't been able to tap that, then this for about 5 or maybe 10 seconds, they wouldn't have been sucking up T-Res there. So that's quite important to think about when you're pub playing, if you're ever doing that, which some people don't recommend. The Lurks are coming out. We've got a double Lurk play. Grissy, long range with a rifle. Bonage, not taking much damage, comes in with a nice finish. MF wasn't even involved in that fight. He was just bait. He was just a little bit of a target. Really nice job, though. It was exactly what they needed to do in terms of strategy. And sub-access, taking a lot of damage, but Rylo's in a perfect position. He's actually looking for a Lurk, I think. He doesn't want to take on Neza because he's worried about the Lurk. Reactor Core's going down. Crossroads is building. And, oh, wow, look at the Godar's upgrades. None. 5-minute mark. They've got no shotguns. They haven't even got an armory. And so, Ascension, they're doing great. I'm happy. This is great. Ascension doing a great job. This is perfect. They're staying on top of res. There's sub-sector down. I mean, they're a little bit behind now. The upgrades will be coming out soon because they've been on 4 Extractors for a while now. They need to deal with Crossroads, and this Lurk can be in a great position to clear up Crossroads. They do lose the Skulk, which is unfortunate. If Jekt hadn't died, that would have been Crossroads vulnerable. And sub-access power. That's an interesting one. I wouldn't be convinced by that yet. I think... Oh, wow, armor 1 there. So there it is. They're finally going to afford the upgrades because they've got 4 Extractors, and 4 Extractors is plenty. It looks like they can finally afford the arms lab because I'm sure they were struggling for that as well. Power node goes down in sub-access. That means Neza's now free to come into ventilation. MF is getting a lot of damage from Rilo on the long range. I think Scatter should have come in and tried to help him out, but might have been a mistake, especially with Valk backing him up from the long range there. And 4 Extractors. Crossroads is probably the most vulnerable one. But perhaps Reactor Core, oh, they could just run right through. Nice one from Jekt and Bonus, looking at this opportunity to take on Reactor Core, and Crossroads, Icefall and Mendas finally finishing up an Armor 1 upgrade. But they're going to lose. This is great from Ascension. They're always in the right place now, and they look how defensive Godar are. For the last 2 or 3 minutes, they haven't been able to push, and we're finally seeing them take an opportunity to get about past this point, which I would say is pushing. And Icebolt is getting taken out by Scatter. They're doing such a great job. They take out an Extractor, they fall back just in time. Bonage is there to come into Crossroads just in case they did actually manage to get through. They had a plan A and a plan B for defending Crevice, and no push onto Comp Lab. So Ascension are in a great position right now. They've got to, they need to get shell upgrades though. I'm not sure how they're doing so well without shells, but they need to spend the T-Res. And they've only got one, but I don't know what they've been buying. But it's not been shells, unless they've just dropped them all or something. No, what have they been buying? This is mad. So we've got Valk and Rilo taking the long range. They've got a nice line of sight from these two directions, but a great team play here. We've got 2 Skulks, 2 Lurks. Skulk takes way too much damage early on. Nezza's alive still, though. Bonage and Scatter clear it up, and I think you've got to make sure you keep your Skulks alive in a 4v2 like that, because the Skulks are the ones that are going to stick around doing the damage, and the Lurks there didn't take enough, I think. They could have risked that a bit more with the Lurks. Weapons 1 is started, 5 Extractors. That's looking like sub-access, Crossroads, Reactor Core, and everything behind that. MF, he's going to get taken out here almost instantly by Mendas and Icebolt, and now Crevice is under attack. Atrium's being built. It looks like a little bit of combat in ventilation. Aliens finally taking some risks here. They're taking sub-axis and Atrium. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to pay off because they're going to get taken out, but it's going to slow the Marines down. So this Marine here, he's forced to slow down. He's not going to be able to back up Crevice for a second, which means MF and a couple of Lurks might be able to deal with the 2 push. If it was a 3 push, they'd be in a bad position. Jacked, nice and slow. Stealth attack, Splinter Cell, jump down on him. Really nice on the reload, Grissy there with no rifle. Fantastic job from Jekt. And then Bonage and Scatter taking out Icebolt and Mendas here. Icebolt's got no chance. And they defend it. They defend Atrium and Crevice. This is really well done from Ascension. They're doing perfectly. They still got no damn shells, though. This is going to really cost them if they've only got 1 shell. They need to sort of concentrate on that. Because it's 8 minutes in and they've got no upgrades. They're just as strong as they spawned with. Like this Skulk right here. In 9 minutes, he hasn't gotten any stronger, and look at that, Grissy with a fantastic. Look at that, that was mad. I can't even draw a line that straight. That was crazy good. Nezza on the power node at Crossroads. That's strange. I don't know why you go for the power node. It's more vulnerable. That's mad. I don't know what that's about. Go for the Extractor. Always go for the Extractor, especially when it's in a pit, which reduces line of sight. It's like a trench. You fight in a trench because it's safer. You're harder to get shot. I don't know why they went for the power node. Must be the idea of the phase gate, but they're nowhere near phase gates. Valk and Rilo, looks like they actually did manage to take out Computer Lab, but do get cleared up. And if they did spend any P-Res, it was only welders. They had no shotguns. So a pretty effective combat there. The Drift needs to get involved on that. And they looks like they lost Atrium as well. So looks like Ascension are kind of losing out a little bit. They need to go for more of a base push or more harassment, because at the moment they're letting the Marines spread. And if the Marines are spreading, it means they're not defending as effectively, which means the base is kind of open. Those 2 on respawn now. This is a difficult game right now. This is again another tense game where Ascension are doing very well, but not quite there. Like they've almost had an advantage, but it's still pretty even. Godar somehow have managed to be keeping up with the upgrades and the Extractors. Bonage on a 1v1, losing their 1v1 against an Armor 1, Weapons 1, Mendasp. And 3 guys looking like they want to get phase tech, but they're not, because they don't have an observatory, but they've got 3 guys here. Finally, the fades are out. 10 minutes. This is what we've been waiting for. It's been so slow with the fades. They could have done so much more if they'd had the fades 2 minutes ago. And an 8-minute fade's pretty average. Like, that's not exceptional. I'm not asking too much there. But we're finally seeing them. Jekt and MF doing a great job, and these guys have no shotguns, so there's no way they're going to clear these guys, especially with the mucus membrane we're seeing, which for some reason is looking a little bit red for me, when it should be green. Bonage clearing the room up. Now the Extractor's vulnerable, and they need the Skulks involved. Jekt almost gets taken out, but so lucky. Mendas not quite enough damage to finish him, and he looks like he's actually in position to take Crevice on. But there's a Crag. Look at the Crag. Crag is going to save it. Takes 50% damage. And then nothing. It's going to get fully healed. That would have been 20%, 30% on the Harvester, and it would have stayed there. It would have persisted, but the Crag makes sure that damage does not persist unless it's actually taken out. So you can see right now, Crossroads, pretty Marine heavy defense here, but sub-axis only 1 guy. He's got a shotgun though. Icebolt, see what he can do up against Nezza and Bonus. Long range spiking from him, and there's going to be a reload. Nezza's not quite in position. He needs to flank a little bit left because he's not quite in a good position to take on this guy. And in comes the fade, so I don't even know what Nezza was thinking. He could have just moved on because if the fade was coming in, he could have been on ventilation that whole time. You've got to make sure you're capitalizing on opportunities like that.
And it looks like they're actually going for a defensive play here. Aliens, mucus membrane all over the room. A lot of damage on... Actually, no, they're doing no damage with these shotguns. And the aliens are going to clear these Marines up. MF taking a lot of damage finally, but he's got plenty of energy and he started with loads of health. Forcing Valk into defense. These guys have healed up at the hive. Jekt with a 1v1 up against Valk, who's only got HP. No armor, that's 2 swipes dead. And why did we not see an extractor harass from the Skulk era? Weapons 2 is going to be done soon. Godar is going to be on 5 extractors. Ascension on 3 harvesters. Godar finally turning this game around. This is what we see from Godar. They never give up. They're so strong. They stay on extractors. They make sure that it's a priority. And you can see right now with 5 extractors, they're going to have a pretty easy win at this point if they can keep these shotguns off the ground. Got a 1v1 Grissi versus Jekt, who actually... Wow, 3%! Could have got a spike on him and he would have died. No, he's on 100% health. No armor. And mucus membrane trying to keep these guys. Why are they always going for the power? Must be the phase gate, but there's no phase gates yet. That's so unfortunate. 12 minutes and no phase gates. Wow. 6 extractors. We're going to be seeing a lot of upgrades soon. Weapons 2 completed. I'm sure we'll be seeing an observatory built soon enough. There's still no observatory. That means the base has actually been very vulnerable. You could get 2 fades and a skulk in the enemy base. You could do a significant amount of damage. There's the welder onto the power node, wasting everyone's time on that. You've got one guy at Crevice. Atrium has actually been built. They need to deal with that. Subax has been built and they're dealing with that. Crevice. Wow. Computer lab. 3 shotgunners coming in. And there's no one in position to deal with it quick enough to save the harvester, so that gets taken out almost immediately. Doesn't take many shotgun blasts, and with 2 shotgunners, they take it out pretty quick. MF comes in, takes a huge amount of damage, tries to actually escape through the south side, and then we see Jekt get taken out as well. So these guys are really on form with their shotgun blasts, and Jekt is caught out in the wrong position. Maybe going for a base push, force a beacon. Or maybe just go for a really long route safely, but that's not going to be safe by the time he gets to Summit Reception. And this is Godar. This is top quality Godar play. Shotgun blasts through the roof. Really nice damage onto the fades. They finally got weapons 2. Armor 2 is going to be done soon. Observatory's done. And this is what happens if you let Godar hold extractors. Oh my gosh, that was a phenomenal kill. Ryo taking up Bonage with the most amazing pistol kill I've seen all day. Grissi with a shotgun gets flanked from MF by behind. Icewell comes in to back him up. Phase Tech looks like they're trying to position themselves for the phase gate push into Crossroads. And where's the Onos? Oh my gosh, Ascension, 14 minutes and still no Onos. 53 P-res on Neza. I don't know how they're being so slow with the P-res. You can see, oh my gosh, look at, oh, that's phenomenally good, but not enough. 12 extractors have been killed by the alien team, and it's still not enough. You got MF 1v1 up against Grissi. Looks like he's trying to get to these shotguns. One of them has just disappeared. Rilo as well. But MF doing a great job of slowing these guys down, and that's not going to be a recycled shotgun. You can see it just there. Eject takes out the extractor. Wow, so Ascension have got a lot of work to do. Look at that, 7. 4 plus 3. Looks like one of them will be taken out in Atrium. Subaxis is built and completely will be taken out. MF might be able to finish these guys off. Probably not though. The shotgun blast is probably going to be too scary for him. So a 1v2 not taken by him. 3 guys. This is going to be a hub phase gate or Crossroads phase gate sometime soon. You can see how aggressive the Marines are being. Look at that. 1 push here, 1 push here, and a single push up in Atrium. That's taking a way too long to kill this guy. Bonus used to go through and deal with reactor core, fool the fade back to... Oh no, Crevice is actually outnumbered. Maybe go for a base push. No, not a base push. MF and Scatter, they're playing too defensively now. They're being a bit too predictable. They're sort of responding all the time rather than doing stuff. I say probably the difference between proactive and reactive. They're always there, like dealing with guys and responding to attacks, and they're always responding a little bit too late now. And they're going to be on 0 harvesters. That's really well done from Godar. It's going to cost them a couple of shotguns, but putting the aliens on 0. Wow, Valk's still alive with a shotgun. Clears up a couple of skulks. I thought he was doomed. I mean, they essentially suicide pushed, but managed to stay alive somehow for a little bit longer than I expected. Jekt on sub-access. So they lost a couple of extractors, but they crippled the aliens. They've only got Atrium, and if Icefeld's quick, they can deal with that, and this is looking like a Godar win. You can't sit around with only 1 harvester up. Not at the 16-minute mark. 3 shells are finally done. Neza with 56p res, but it takes a lot of time to get an extra 4p res when you've only got 1 harvester. MF comes in, does no damage, takes no damage though, which is interesting. Neza with a nice flank onto Rilo, shotgun down on the ground. Valk's probably going to come in and recycle that. He's got his shotgun, reloading it. Mendas Valk with the phase gate build in Computer Lab. And again, guys, this is an extremely important match. Ascension aren't going to GG. They want to win this. They really need. I mean, this is every match counts now significantly for Ascension. They got to win the next 4 rounds if they want to stay in this competition. And a really nice extractor kill from these two, but they probably will get cleared up because they were low health. But I'm still pretty happy with that push. Rilo doing a pretty good job, taking out 2 low skulks there. He was outnumbered though. And wow, still got a lot of work to do. Ascension still behind. Grissy solo defending his phase gate. That's really nice hiding there, so that if they do try and grind it, you get a lot of damage off onto one target. Triple shell's done. Ascension with 2 harvesters. Check out the P-res again. It's on 58. There's probably not enough. Neza gets taken out. I think it's going to take too long for the Onos. The Marines are going to have weapons 2, armor 2, and phase gates, and I don't think the Onos is going to be significant enough to change the course of this game. MF takes a lot of damage. They're still only on 1 fade and 30 P-res on these 2 other guys who looks like they went lurk at some point. Bonus and Jack taking on Mendes and Valk. Really nice job from these guys defending each other very nicely. Nice pistol shots from Valk straight along there. Takes him out, and we've got a comp lab has been built. Neza taking on the phase gate here. He's taking long range damage from Grissy. Anyone that comes through this is probably going to clear up Neza, and Grissy pushes in as well. Looks like he might be able to take out Neza. Mucus Membrane. Keeping him alive, actually. Mucus Membrane with the shell upgrade. You can see just how much armor that gives him. Scatter comes in, clears up one of them. MF comes in, probably clears up Rilo. Pistol comes down, not enough to scare off either of these guys. Icefelt comes in with a shotgun blast onto Scatter, trying to clear the lurk. Nice job, jumps down there into the vent. Chasing the lurk, really well done. That's a lurk down. Shotgun probably gone, depending on whether they can maintain this phase gate or not. Grissy comes through, double bite, triple bite, quad bite. Nice one from Bonage. Even with the med packs, takes this guy out. And then the phase gate's really low. Bonage clears it up. And Rilo! Bonage takes out 2 players on a phase gate there. Really well done. Mendas pushing the base. Doesn't do anything significant. The shells are actually a little bit vulnerable. They got 2 there and 1 here. Valk solo attack with a shotgun. Nice one to Slayer. Does a lot of damage. The Hive is healing these 2 guys up. Wow. Really nice shotgun blast onto Valk behind the Hive there. So, really impressive. Valk takes out another another Skulk, and he's still going up against a Fade. Nice one. Even up against a Hive. He still does a significant amount of damage to MF there. Look at the map control. Edge Atrium is about to be built. We're going to be on 7 extractors for Godar, and that's going to be a good game. I think once they're on 7, if they hold that for more than a minute, it's going to be a good game. They're going to get weapons 3, maybe cat packs. Onos is coming out finally, and Bonage going a gorge to help him out. Scan goes down, so if they haven't seen the Onos, they've definitely seen him now. You can see he's just been scanned, and he's going long range. Oh my goodness, this is a terrible corridor to try and push as an Onos. Unless you can get the fade in behind them, distract them. You need a flank if you want to take this. You can't push that. Not without charge. Not without bone shield. Not without some upgrades. So, predictably, they're going the other way. Now, let's see how Godar respond to this. I mean, surely they're predicting either they can push or defend Crossroads. Looks like they're actually trying to do both. Mendes solo defense in Crossroads there, and the Harvest is the target, and they know that they're really low on Harvesters. MF flies in. Takes a shotgun blast. Doesn't take a huge amount of damage though. Neza, huge damage. He's really low health. Nice though. Clearing these guys up. That's an opportunity to push. MF slow and steady. You need to hurry up there if you can. And then we've got the Bonage on the heel. And Neza taking on this phase gate. And let's see who can come through. Icefelt on the respawn. Rilo on the respawn. And they take it up, recycle it. Nice one. Grissy and Mendas looking like they were trying to trap the Onos. But they haven't got enough health to pull it off. Great job. Neza loses a lot of health, but does manage to take one of them out. And then he just... I mean, what was that? He held there and died. I don't know what he was waiting for. I don't know why. Cost him his life. I don't know why you'd wait there with 30% health. Either go for the kill and clear it up so there's no damage incoming, or fall back and get some health so you can afford to take incoming damage. He sat in the middle, not really doing much. Good game. It hasn't been called yet, but I'm sure it will be. I could have sworn I saw one of the guys. Yeah, there's a good game. It's called. They've run out of options. MF was actually, you can see, he's trapped on the wrong side of his hive there. So, damn. That was actually a lot closer than I'm sure a lot of people predicted. I'm sure some people are in chat saying that wasn't close at all. That was Godar winning the whole time, and it was Godar winning the whole time. But I've got to say that was closer than I expected. That was really nice play from Ascension. Definitely their aliens was strong. Oh, that was some great games. Wow, thanks for joining me, guys. Okay, so just to cover some stuff, we've got more games coming up today. Check out Blind NS2 on Twitch. Check out his, I'm sure you can find him on Twitter too, or just follow NS2WC on Twitter. Wasabi 1 is casting with Red Dog later on today as well. That's coming up. These are coming up maybe in a couple of hours, 3 or 4 hours. And that's on the Natural Section 2 official Twitch channel. This has been Ascension versus Godar. 4-0 to Godar, so they played very well, not losing a single round against Ascension. This means Godar's going through to the semi-finals, live at Cologne, and Godar are a strong team. I'm sure they could get through to the finals. I don't think anyone's cutting them out of that. I think this could be a Godar final as well. If you want more information about the NS2WC, please check out the website. Just to stop distracting myself, I'm going to go into the ready room. And wow, what's left to say? That was some great games. Thanks for watching, everyone. There's more games coming up today from the quarterfinals and the semi-finals and live finals. All of them coming up February 22nd, live Cologne. I'm sure that's all going to be on twitch.tv/Natural Selection 2. Check out the website, Natural Selection 2 World Championship. Check out the Twitter feeds you've got, and follow me if you've enjoyed this cast and you want to see more. I'm not sure we'll be seeing any more NS2WC on my channel, but there's definitely going to be maybe Season 4 of the Natural Selection League. And other than that, thanks for watching, guys. This has been great. Thanks for watching. Please follow me. And other than that, I'll see you next time. Thank you.